isn't there something interesting about the fact that out of all those states, the vast majority of those states were red states, even though the blue states are the one that's fucked. Blue states are overwhelmed. Let me finish. Redneck, shut the fuck up. Okay, the blue states overwhelmingly filled with cities, overwhelmingly dense areas. If you look at places like Maryland, if you look at places like Connecticut, if you look at places like Maine, if you look at places like New York, you're going to talk about states that cities dominate them, or they have cities that are densely packed. If anything, you should see the top 10 be full of blue states. But because blue states took COVID more seriously, they don't make up the majority of the top 10 states. It's red states.
Our government, I think, is pulling some shit, and I don't care who and you might be right, Dylan. I might be stretching it to say it's racist, but guess what? It's definitely classist. It's definitely classist what's happening right now with the mandates.
Again, but I just said that the majority of Americans cannot deal with a $400 emergency. And the costs that are going to come with catching COVID or dealing with the severe effects of COVID or the funeral costs with burying over the 800,000 people that die are severe. And so when you talk about the cost of COVID, not making the stuff available to low income and black communities, that's going to have a detrimental economic, not even effect on top of the health effect.
No one's saying you shouldn't make it available.
Well, the problem, but the thing is, my main
argument. You're not hearing me.
Yeah, Redneck.
Can I say something?
No, please.
I have a question. So you're saying that if they get COVID, like
what actually happened to me? Two
Mr.
people
Dylan
without them
Burns.
fucking just saying, "Oh, that didn't happen." Oh, well, looky here.
Hello, everybody. How's it
Speaking
doing?
of devils,
Devils.
What's up?
Oh,
Redneck, you have a heart condition?
so much.
Yeah.
You do?
Yep.
Yeah, I did as well. I had the atrial septic defect whenever I was born. I had open heart surgery at 11 years old. Taking that vaccine would be a fucking murder.
I have what they call a enlarged lower chamber and a valve that likes to do some funky shit. And there was no symptoms of that. I don't have the same shit in my family. So the military rates my heart condition at 30% back when it first happened. They had it at 30%. So
I was not able to join the military because I have a scar from here all the way down here.
Fuck's sakes, bro.
At 11 years old, I had open heart surgery. I was enabled because I tried to fucking convince a Navy corpsman to let me join the military. And no, not going to fucking happen.
What's up, Derek?
What's up, Dylan?
He just got back. What's up, Dylan? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Dylan?
I'm doing okay. I just got another Diet Coke. I slam these things, man. I slam them.
So you like the fake sugar? Huh?
What was that?
You like the fake sugar, huh?
Yeah, I can't bring myself to drink the real thing because I'm a pussy.
I'm more scared of the fake stuff. The fake stuff's
What did your shirt say? You voted for Hunter Biden's what?
I voted for Hunter Biden's dad.
So Dylan, what's the new kind of tell us conservatives what's the new approach with the left? How can we actually have real debate and actual conversations and move things forward instead of just throwing shit at each other like we're at the zoo?
Probably shouldn't call people racist. That's probably one I'd throw. Just randomly call people racist at least.
Oh no, here goes. Again, I'll tell you. Your ideology and what you're pushing is racist because it's being forced upon people that we all agree are the primary. Like, you didn't debate this fact with me at all. You agreed that, like, if the black family decides not to fucking take the vaccine, they have a reason, right? Do you agree with that?
Sorry, all I can hear is goose stepping in my head right now, but I hear you. Yes.
Do you agree with it?
Do I agree with you on what specifically? That black people what?
That the reason America has a 70% plus rate of black America that's not vaccinated, does that not trouble you?
Oh, it troubles me.
Do you know why they don't? Do you blame them?
Do I blame them? I mean, I'm sure there's individuals within the black community who haven't gotten vaccinated because
70+%.
Can you not? Okay, Redneck, you gotta let me explain my positions before you jump down my throat. Okay. I do like men jumping down my throat, but not you. Okay, so
don't knock it till you try it.
I'm fine. So the thing is, I think that there's a bunch of different reasons. I've been part of vaccine pop-ups in my community, which is a majority black county, Prince George's County. And most of the conversations I've had with them, it was, well, I didn't know where to get vaccinated, or, well, I haven't got around to it. I didn't know how to do it really. I thought I had to bring my ID. I didn't have that. I thought maybe I need my birth certificate, or just people not having access, not knowing where to go to get vaccinated. Some people thought it would cost money and they didn't want to pay the money, and there was they didn't know that. And I'm sure there's people also who are against it for ideological reasons. But I think this idea of just painting everybody, and of course there's probably some for medical, but this idea of painting them all hey, they're all just a bunch of anti-vaxxers, I think that's silly. I think there's a bunch of different reasons why people haven't gotten vaccinated yet.
Okay, hang on a second. Do you agree that 70+% of Black America is not vaccinated?
Motherfuckers.
I can look up that statistic quick. I don't know the exact number. What percent of Black are not vaccinated?
I hate to say it, but what he's searching up right now is already media bias.
Oh, really?
It's an opinion, but I think what he's already looking up is media bias. Period.
Wow. Well, then I think.
What you got, Dylan? What number you got?
Yeah. I'm 72% of the population. No, 72%? Wait. 72% of the population is vaccinated. Well, let me finish.
America.
Okay, so
America.
I'm trying to find specifics for race, but you know what? I'll just grant it. I'll just grant it for conversation purposes.
I don't want you to be charitable for any reason, because that's where my racism charge is based on our government and the current administration, and you support them wholeheartedly. And I'm saying that because
with your whole heart.
Well, I disagree with the Biden administration on multiple things.
Let me back up then, Dylan. I know we got to be direct. Do you believe in mandatory vaccination?
Yes.
Do you not see the racism in that?
No. You can say it's if you want to call it authoritarian, you can call it whatever. Racism, I just think is silly. I just think it's name calling.
If you're forcing it on another.
Hang on.
Also, white people, Brento, white people too.
Bro. But white people, you even said it on your own stream. Majority of white America is vaccinated because we're privileged. We can get to all these places. We don't have to show, you laid out all the oppressions that are going to happen for people of color to be able to get the vaccine. You laid that out for me. So even if I use your argument, bro, why do we not have more? Why can't you help pop up some more pop-ups?
Okay,
because the administration does not fucking want them.
So was that a hypothetical question or not a real question? Do you want me to actually answer it? You're very energetic, Redneck. Really good for a man at your age to be so energetic. Very happy for you.
I'm fucking passionate and virulent.
So I actually do participate in vaccine pop-ups in my community. I worked with PG Changemakers to get needles into the arms of people who needed them. So I do it myself. I mean, literally what you're asking me to do, I do.
Sorry to derail, but can you define what PG Changemakers means? Because that's a new one for me.
PG Changemakers is a local organization in Prince George's County that gets involved in local activism and direct action through getting resources to people like medical supplies, PPE, food, and of course vaccine pop-ups. It's a very local organization.
Okay, so because you don't understand where I'm coming from when I say this is racist, it's because it's targeting. The mandate doesn't affect white America.
Yes, it does.
As much as it affects people of color more than it does white America, dude. Okay, the stats are there. I can even use your own fucking stats.
So wait.
That's the point.
If that's the case, then wouldn't it also be illegal to say arrest people for a crime? Since due to economic factors, black people commit crime at higher rates than white people. So
that would not be related.
Wait, what?
Wait, but it's being disproportionate, Brento. It's a disproportionate
effect. You asked, would it be illegal?
No. Would it be?
Would it be racist?
Would it be racist?
He's arguing the racism.
Yeah. So, Redneck, is it racist? Is it racist to arrest for murder, Redneck?
Dylan.
Yeah, look, it doesn't hold up, does it? Just don't call me racist. Just call me authoritarian or something. This is stupid.
No, the fact that you can't comprehend that you will use the same argument to say that people don't need to have a fucking voter ID
is occurred.
Yeah, turn right the fuck around. You turn right the fuck around and say, I'm going to push something in your goddamn arm whether you like it or not. Is unfucking fathomable in my mind to see you preach this liberalism of individuality.
You need to calm down,
as a gay,
well,
bro, I'm just being passionate about the fucking facts. Pick a goddamn side, dog.
Hey, you know I really don't like that, and yet it's happening.
GD.
And it's an actual fact that more white men get shot by police than black men do during arrests.
So
if you want to go through the racist shit, yeah, it's an actual fact that more white men get shot versus black men do.
Okay, so you're saying
during an arrest.
So you're saying that cops are racist against whites then?
No, I'm saying it's an actual fact.
So why are you bringing it up?
That shit happens.
So why are you bringing it up?
He's saying it's not racism.
We're taking
not that cops are racist against whites.
Racist versus black versus white.
Okay, so what if I was to bring up the disproportionate number of black people on death row, or the disproportionate amount of black people charged?
Because 9 times
there's
out of 10,
a difference between writing a law and it affecting one.
So there's a difference. So there's a difference.
Hold on, let me finish. There's a difference between creating a law.
Okay. Right now, you're all covering for bullshit. Right now, you're all covering for bullshit right now.
No, I don't think so. Well, Dylan,
wait.
can I just ask? Can I ask you a question?
You're usually somewhat sensible. I would expect more from you, okay?
Well, no. Just let me ask the question then. That's okay. But the question is, within the different types of like definitions of racism, I've heard, being on Twitch and talking to people, they say racism is anything that disproportionately affects communities of color negatively, even if it's just part of a system. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like that's their definition of racism. I don't necessarily agree, but that seems like a leftist kind of definition. And if this is doing that, how is this not meted?
This would be like saying it's racist against black people if we were to have social security programs that disproportionately helped them. Or it would be like saying it's classist to have programs that disproportionately help poor people. This program I'm talking about would disproportionately help black people. It isn't racist against them.
Within your definition of helping them, though.
Yes.
Can't they make the choice for them? Why can't they make the choice for themselves?
Why can't they make the choice for themselves? Well, then let me ask you this question. Are seatbelt laws racist?
No, but seatbelt laws are not a medical procedure. Seatbelt laws are not a medical procedure.
Okay.
They're not medical procedures.
Everybody, shut the fuck up. I'm talking to one person at a time. I'm not going to talk to 2 or 3. Okay?
No, you don't tell me
to. You're wrong. He's weak. He's down.
Look, okay. I will tell you to do whatever the fuck I want to tell you to. Fuck you.
Okay. Hey. If I gotta serve meat the whole fucking room, I will. Right? I need to just be able to play my game while y'all have this conversation. So, okay. So, Dylan, take it away. Well, I tell you what, Robe Man just joined the call. Robe Man, I don't think we've ever talked. So, give me a brief description as to who you are and what's up.
Okay, my brief description is basically that these vaccine mandates are ridiculous. Everything that's going on right now is out of control. I don't understand where the country is at. I don't understand what we're doing. Why are we doing this? I live in Massachusetts. I live in Western Massachusetts, and this is a liberal like paradise, I guess. And I just took a trip down to Florida. I saw the difference in the economic prosperity that was going on in Florida. They were just living life, having a good time. Everything was good. There was no COVID. I'm unvaccinated.
No COVID in Florida.
Hold on, stop. You don't know what you're talking about. I went on a plane, went down, unvaccinated, didn't have a mask on, was hanging out in a bar, was just chilling, doing everything, having a good time, came back. Everybody is so worried about a cold. That's what's happening right now. There are people in my area that want to have a vaccine mandate to go into businesses, all this stuff. Why? Why are you trying to regulate my body? Why does the left want to put their agenda into my body? What are you doing? What is the point? Dylan, you tell me why you think that you should have the right to tell me what to do with my body.
Okay, so number one, you all need to calm the fuck down, okay?
No, it's not calm. It's not calm down because you're telling me.
Look at him.
Jesus, Rogue.
Look, okay? I actually think now we need a second mandate, and the second mandate is chill pills, because you all need to take them. Okay?
No, it's not a chill pill. It's not a chill pill.
Mandate right there, Dylan. Both of them.
I haven't said a word.
There's my second mandate. Okay, it's chill pills. Now,
Buckeye hasn't said a word either.
Mandate 2.
Okay.
Mandate 1. Mandate 2. There you go.
It's only because the shoe's on the other foot.
Wow, you're all very smart. Okay, now the thing is, I believe that since COVID is the second largest contributor to death in this country right now, I think that's not a good thing. I think that's a bad thing.
It's not.
800.
It's not. It's not.
It's not.
Prove it. Anyway, let me finish. But okay, number one. Okay, look at them. CTV. Okay, I thought this was the Law and Order Discord. I thought this was the conservative Discord.
I was wondering.
Look at these fucking lefty rioters. Okay, I need the cops to come in here and disperse these people, these anarchists. Okay. Okay.
Really?
Anyway,
Okay.
over 800,000 people have died due to COVID in some way or another.
Through the world.
Oh my God.
The U.S.
No, that is the U.S., dumb fuck. Shut your mouth, okay?
Oh my God, we're going to listen to the fucking CDC and listen what the hell these retarded fucks have to say, which they're not right at all.
Mando, you're not allowed to talk until you get defined ignorance, dude.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Look at
It's
this.
number 2.
People are just making noises at each other now.
You're
That's
gonna
weird.
get my respect when you respect me. If we all calm down, okay, lower our voices, okay, and don't scream at me like you're my dad, okay, like you're telling me to go clean my fucking room, then I'll respect you and I'll talk to you guys like you're human beings. We can have a conversation. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in here who probably disagree with me. Okay, I'm one person. Okay, so if you're coming in here,
right now.
okay,
I'm neutral.
then 7.
Twitch, buddy.
There's a lot of people, okay? So if I'm going to talk to people, you need to calm down and just chill and ask me the questions one at a time so I can answer them. And when I start to answer them, you don't interrupt me while I'm trying to talk, okay? So, let me answer your question. The reason why is...
Milwaukee.
Think that Omnicron, the number one killer of anything.
I never called it the number one killer, okay?
Dude, first of all, there's no N in there.
Jesus
Okay,
Christ.
Dylan's gonna finish.
Is it the number 3 killer?
CTV.
Dylan's gonna
This is
finish.
This is great, CTV.
Dylan's gonna finish.
Okay, so
All right.
when it comes
Who
to...
let Dylan finish?
Shut the fuck up, Milwaukee! Shut up!
This guy's drunk as fuck.
Shut up!
Ranger, you can mute him. Yeah, okay. Now Ranger's like, damn it, I've got a sword. I'm gonna fucking use it.
Fuck, man. Let the man talk.
Okay.
Well, his name is Milwaukee.
So, when it comes to vaccines, I don't think it's as simple as a personal health decision, since this is something that is killing hundreds of thousands of people and is an infectious disease. It gets people, it grabs them, and doesn't only kill them, but it has long-term health effects when it comes to heart problems, lung problems. Of course, there's the more minor stuff like taste and smell. And due to all of these health effects and the fact that it's killed over 800,000 people just within the United States, internationally it's in the millions, I think since this is something that can be spread around, we need to deal with this since you can give me and I can give you COVID. That's the first reason. Second reason, and this is a big one for me, probably the biggest, it has to do with the overburdening of our healthcare system. There are healthcare hospital systems in Pennsylvania right now operating at 110% capacity, and they say that about half of the people in their hospitals are the unvaccinated. You talk about Lindsey Graham's state, he said in a crowd of people, like, hey, 92% of the people in our hospitals right now are the unvaccinated. They are burdening our healthcare system, bringing it to the brink, and we're having delays of 10 to 22 hours for emergency room visits when we're talking about Pennsylvania, and that's just Pennsylvania. And so for me, seeing our healthcare system pushed to the brink by something that could be lessened by vaccines, it isn't simply a decision about personal choice, since this is stuff that can kill other people by people deciding to make the, I guess, personal choice to not get vaccinated and end up in a hospital. And this is something that's hurting other people who have diseases like cancer, car accidents, got shot, got a case of the stabbies. So that's why I feel this.
Wait, Lindsey Graham represents Pennsylvania?
No, that was a different state.
May I ask, only one person fucking answer his whole statement, that would be Redneck.
Hey, Dylan, can I ask you what you did 3 years ago when you were sick? Did you walk around with a mask? Did you worry about what the person sitting next to you had? Did you really go to the doctor if your nose starts sniffling because you were afraid of a fucking cold?
When was I sick 3 years ago?
Let me fucking answer your fucking comments. You made the assumption that all that shit that we're sitting here living like didn't fucking happen before. 3 years ago, we were all having colds and flus, and people were fucking dying in the hospital with cancers and other goddamn comorbidities because of a fucking pneumonia, because of a cold, because of a flu. Sorry, GD, didn't mean to. I'll try to work on it. I promise you. Dylan, you're hyperbolicing the bullshit of COVID, which is an oversell. We have a 99.x. The fact that there's no stat that shows less than 98, even for people with comorbidities over 65, is at 98%. There has not been an illness, not been one effing illness that has been that light other than the common cold. So yes, when you guys want to sit here and say, oh, we've had 800,000 deaths. Yes, SARS is real. Yes, it affects the lungs. Yes, it's a tough fucking flu. But you know what used to happen before COVID? Every 2 or 3 years, we would have a bigger flu season. We would have a pretty bad flu season. If you went back and looked through the numbers, you would see peaks and valleys just like a stock market. You would have highs and lows. All of this shit that you're saying, we're overloading the system, is because of you. All of y'all that got vaccinated were like, oh, we're immune to this thing, so we're going to keep just chugging along. Y'all didn't even expose yourselves properly. Y'all were mocking those of us that got COVID early, those of us that didn't mask, those of us that didn't have vaccines, those of us that weren't practicing your safe living. You were mocking us, yet we're superstars. We're the ones that they're coming to now to go, oh, well, this new variant can't be controlled by our vaccines. It can't stop it from spreading. It can't stop it from this. It can't stop from that. Your only pitch to me right now is that it gives you a better chance of not dying. That is your only fucking comment out of all of your bullshit that you're giving me. And you know what that is? That is fucking fear. And just because you live in fear doesn't mean the rest of the goddamn society needs to live that way. It's bullshit, Dylan.
Okay, so number one, okay, what he just said also is just wrong. So when it comes to vaccines, okay, the vaccinated are the people who are not overburdening the healthcare system. 92% in Lindsey Graham state, 92% of the people in the hospitals in that state are the unvaccinated. We have 110% capacity in the state of Pennsylvania in some hospital districts. We have 50% being the unvaccinated when the majority of Americans, 72%, are vaccinated. It's a disproportionate amount of the unvaccinated that are making up hospitals. What are you saying about superstars? I mean, maybe. I see a lot of people on ventilators on CNN. I guess you're a star then. You made the news. Congratulations. A lot of anti-vax radio hosts have made the star. Why? For being put in the ground.
You realize,
well, currently with the new Omicron, no one's vaccinated.
But Dylan, do you realize the stat you're giving? 72% of America's vaccinated. Do you realize that your status of being vaccinated went out after the first, unless you got 2 boosters now? You're not vaccinated unless you have 2 boosters. So don't sit here and talk this moral
when did I get vaccinated?
Bullshit.
You don't even know when I got vaccinated.
I'm not talking about you specifically.
That's right.
Dylan.
You're anti-vax.
I'm talking about if you do not have, per CDC right now, if you don't have the second booster shot, you are labeled as unvaccinated. Yes.
That's not true.
No,
that's not
true.
even that's true. Not. It's literally just a lie. Okay, look at it. We can talk about. Okay, wait. Okay, shut up. There was 2 people who just talked to me. Okay, there was this guy on the bottom here, and then it was Redneck. So you said it doesn't protect against Omicron. That's not true. Okay, vaccines have been proven to resist against Omicron.
If you that's proven. You're not vaccinated.
Wait, Redneck. I'm trying to answer somebody else's question because both of you asked me things. Okay, so one person said that's just not true. When it comes to Redneck saying, send me right now that they list people who haven't have 2 boosters as the unvaccinated, because you claimed a lot of things in our discussion like 2 hours ago that just end up not being true. You claimed that it's just public news, that it was made in a lab, and that's just proven. That was wrong. You didn't have evidence for that. You said that the CDC admitted that vaccines don't work. That was wrong. You didn't have proof for that. So send me proof, because I don't believe literally anything you said. Yes, you did. You want to do? We can rewind the clip.
Hold on. Shut the fuck up for a second. Listen, look, if you guys are going to talk, then talk. Now, number one, I'm an anti-vax person. I don't believe in that bullshit. But if you guys are going to have a civil fucking discourse between one another, let one fucking speak and then let the other speak.
Yeah, and I kind of find it like if I need to actually start, hold on, just look, if I need to start talking, then it's stopping the conversation, and it's just me kind of getting the tone turned around to the kind of tone that I'd like to have in the call, right? So
don't yell at one another.
So this is the kind of tone that I'd like to have in the call. So if the rest of you can maintain your tone right about here, we can continue to have a good conversation. Frames, feel free to jump in here as well, buddy. I see you in the chat. And from time to time, I may interrupt everything that everybody is saying to address chat specifically because I'm paying attention to chat while we're also doing this, right? So somebody take it from the top, and we'll go from there.
I just want to make one point
Destiny
where
wants to join.
I want to ask a question. I just want to ask one question
Destiny's
of Dylan.
more than welcome.
By the
to
way,
join.
somebody asked for the source. I'm linking in my chat for the 92%. This is Lindsey Graham giving a speech about it to a crowd. And he, of course, cited CDC data. Continue.
So Dylan, I have a question for you. If you're for the vaccine mandate, let's say it has to get to 6 boosters. Are you okay with having to get your 6th booster? Are you okay with that, like having to be mandated?
Yes.
Why? So when does it end for you? If let's say it gets to 12, 14, 16, 18, do you continue to just say, let's keep putting this juice in our body and hoping that it just makes us better?
Yes.
But where does it end?
That's what an inhibitor is. You need to understand the science before you have a take on it.
What do you mean by the inhibitor? This is what I'm saying. So I'm just supposed to just accept that this new science miracle is going to just protect me from everything. But when at the same time,
that's what science is.
Nobody claimed it.
Can I finish?
Except that it doesn't, though.
Can I finish?
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Sure,
Can I finish?
Can I finish?
The Omicron variant is infecting people who are vaccinated and who are boosted. So if we continue to get it boosted, what is the problem? And you're going to tell me, oh, it's to overload the hospital. So are you also agreeing that overweight people and people who smoke and people who drink should be shunned? Is that what you're saying as well?
Yes, actually. You don't know my position on health issues. So
I don't. I'm asking you.
So the first thing I want to say is I don't know if I would call it a new science miracle. Like, I mean, you could say that about insulin. You could say that about like any amount of medical developments. But come on. Let me finish. Okay.
Go ahead.
You could say that about anything. You can call it a new science miracle. Use whatever terms you want to. Personally, yes, it is a miracle that we were able to develop this so fast. I think it's a gift. I think it's one of humanity's greatest achievements. Just like Donald Trump said, I agree with Mr. Trump. I guess maybe it's just because like I'm a Republican now. But the second thing is my position actually is that we should have national programs to decrease the rates of overweight and stuff. For example, I believe in like expanding gym classes in youth and having mandatory like health education classes, expanding that in like educate. Like there's a lot of things that I should do because I believe if I want to one day have like universal healthcare, universal public healthcare, that you're gonna have to deal with some of the chronic issues we have as society, definitely when it comes to overweight and like health issues, if we're going to be able to actually cover the cost that would endure. This is like a thing when it comes to Europe, for example. Like like the more chronic health issues we have in the country, the more it's going to cost for healthcare. And so I do want to deal with those, tackle them head on. Wait, let me just be clear. Do I know the specifics about how I'm going to like tackle those in all those different ways? I don't know the specifics. I haven't like sketched one out for like how do we tackle like people being overweight and stuff like that. Like we can like pose hypotheticals, but like I don't know if I'd really commit to a hypothetical right now. I'm just saying that yes, I do believe there should be some mandatory programs when it comes to weight issues, for example.
So following your reasoning, you're saying that the vaccine should be mandated. You're also saying that fat people should be mandated to get skinny.
Okay, I didn't say they should be mandated to get skinny.
Well, that's the same avenue that you're going down. That's the exact same avenue.
Listen, also there's a different. Wait, let me be. Fuck. Okay, you gotta let me be clear too. There's also a difference between being fat, because I can't just by being fat and being around you give you fat. That's not a thing. There's also a difference.
But you can overload the healthcare system.
You can overload the healthcare system, but these are two issues that compound each other and together make it enough for me to mandate vaccines. For example, let's say there's an issue that makes you like ugly, it makes you dumb, and it makes you blind, and I'm like, okay, this is so bad that we need to mandate it. But there's another thing that just makes you blind. Then I think that somebody could argue to me that it's not as enough a societal issue that we need to mandate something to solve that. It's the compounding issues together.
So I have one question. I really do. I have one question. So if there's a mandate out there, right? But whenever Trump came out with his whatever that hyperspeed vaccine, whenever he was president, were you for the vaccine?
Yes.
You were for the vaccine
yes.
whenever he was president.
You can quote me then. Yes. Look, you can go back and look. All of my stuff's public record. I've been streaming for 2 years. Yes. It was 2020. I was pro-vaccine then, and I'm pro-vaccine now. I've been consistent. Yes. Okay. Redneck's laughing, but he has no source on it.
You were not
Prove it.
mandate.
Prove
you were
it.
choice. You were choice.
Prove it.
You were choice.
Prove it, Redneck.
I don't have to prove it. I don't have to prove you were choice, bro.
Okay.
You prove you're not.
You know what? I am pro-choice when it comes to abortion, baby.
Work.
Oh, okay. So why is it pro-choice for abortion but not for vaccination?
Two people make the conscious decision to get pregnant, right? There's not I can't just be pregnant by being around somebody, okay? I'm not gonna be near Brento and just make him pregnant. I mean,
that's not.
Brento. Actually, Brento. I mean, you're kind of looking kind of good right now. Maybe.
Hold on. Dylan
works with.
Hold on.
Also, it's not overburdening the healthcare system too.
Is my mic not working?
No, I can't hear you.
Not working?
Now it's working.
Now it's not working. So a minute ago it was working. You just didn't get the shit out of your ears. Got it. Okay. So, look, Dylan. Eucharist just gifted a tier 1 sub to Spectre. Spectre is now blackballed. Fucking outstanding, Spectre. Getting some balls. Love it. Dylan, look. I've got so much machismo, I got to be careful with the amount of time I spend out in public because I might get a random population of women pregnant.
Fair.
So, like, the idea that, proximity to, I got to push back on that a little bit.
If that's the case, CTV, then we might have to make you a eunuch. Just for everyone's safety.
I don't think so. I think we'll
look at Redneck. We're just joking around. He's just there seething like.
I never fucking thought you would be the biggest cuck for Big Pharma.
Oh my God, we're just joking, and here you go, Redneck, just storming around. This is how he looks right now around his room.
You're a cuck. You are a cuck for Big Pharma. That's it. You're a cuck for Big Pharma.
Cuck. Dude, just calm down. Relax, okay? Everybody here but me disagrees with you anyway. Okay?
Yeah, man, you got like Alex Jones energy, Redneck.
Always have, always
will. Do you have the
You
documents?
ain't gotta like it. I don't give a fuck that you don't like my energy.
I don't care about your energy. It's your misinformation and false facts.
Bro,
Amen, brother.
False facts. Yeah, it's all right there for everybody to see. Yeah.
So my business.
None of it's been disproven, but yet all of it's on fucking social media.
I mean, literally. Hang on. I could guarantee you, Dylan. Less than 6 months ago, you made a stream about how Big Pharma's fucking the world and how they take advantage of people and affect lives over and over and over. Yet here you are preaching, take it in the ass right now, mandatory. Who gives a fuck?
Okay, number one. Wait. Number one. Yes. Wow. Take it in the ass, mandatory, hot. Number two. Okay. Here's the second thing. I can think that an institution has flaws in one area and still support using it in other. For example, okay?
Prostitution.
Wait. Redneck, okay? I know that you think the government's flawed deeply, okay? I know you got a lot of problems with the government. If someone, though, came onto your property, like 20, 30 robbers, would you not call the cops? Because at the end of the day, that's like one of the few options you got there, and that's all we can do. I believe now, Redneck, this is when you say, nah, shoot them all and like call in my private helicopter, whatever the fuck. You can't kill 30 people, Redneck. You're not that. I mean, as skilled as you think you are, you're not gonna stop 30 fucking robbers with like machine guns or whatever. You get exactly the point of my like hypothetical here. And so what I'm saying is, I can have problems with the government in one area, or the problems with Big Pharma in one area, and still think that the best solution available is either from the government or from this instance, the government working with pharma.
I'll take it. But I'm gonna give you the. Hang on. Let me nail his example. Okay, I agree with you on all your points. What would happen with those 30 people robbing me? How many can I kill? Because guess what? That's my point, right? I have the choice to try to defend myself because I know my government's not going to get there to help me. It's not going to happen until after the fact.
You hide. You never know.
Bro, all you're doing is all you're doing is advocating for something that's unknown that you want to force on somebody that's already been
man. This is
Dylan, please. And the Muskegee experiment was a study, and all of these other things are. Oh, fuck off, because I have actual facts. I am one of those victims as well. The military during my time frame has acknowledged that they were doing testing on us with medications. Okay, Dylan, please understand this is not a fucking storyline that I'm not got something I can back it up with. I'm talking to you with my fucking life here. That's why I'm so passionate, you cocksuckers. It has actually happened to me. So when I see us forcing it upon others, of course I'm going to have some fucking victimhood mentality complex because it's fucking happened.
I never called you a victim.
19-year-olds. Now we're seeing 19-year-olds having the same kind of heart conditions and other conditions, and you want to force this upon people, especially a group of people in our society that are already been affected by the same government. And that's why I say it's racist, because when people of power force upon others that have already been greatly disadvantaged by that system, then it is a fucking racist. And that's where I find it troubling to believe that you are sitting here advocating for it. Like, really, that's what troubles me.
Okay, look, I am the evil racist Democrat, okay? Look, this is what this has devolved to. Racist name calling right now, look. So, I'm sorry, I thought that was the left thing. You go around calling everybody else racist, you call everybody else, like, homophobic. I thought that's the thing the left does. You can call me
that was what they did.
Well,
you can call me an authoritarian, but this whole racist angle is a little weird. Anyway. Redneck, I let you do your spiel. Okay, I let you do your spiel. Redneck. I'm not listening because I know
you don't want the truth.
I'm just gonna lower your user volume.
Handle the truth.
I'm just gonna lower his user volume until I'm done speaking. Okay, because it's going a little far. Okay, so the problem is with the Tuskegee experiment into this. As I said earlier. Usually, when you're doing an experiment on people, you don't give it first to all the rich white people. And if you look at the population that was vaccinated first, it was rich white people, government officials. It wasn't poor black people. If the Tuskegee experiment wouldn't have worked if they tried to do the entire population to do it, including government officials and the ruling elite, that's not how you do experiments on vulnerable populations. So to compare it to the Tuskegee experiment just doesn't work. It's not the same thing. Also, the heart problems you're talking about. I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished. Okay. So, lastly, you talk about the heart problems. There are a lot of heart problems associated with COVID, a lot of lung problems. In fact, if you look at the rates of heart problems that come with COVID, it's at a much higher rate than when it comes to the vaccine. And so if your issue here is heart problems, then we should be activated.
Yes, COVID does not affect 19-year-olds.
But it can spread. They can spread it. They catch it, they spread it.
Doing it. God damn it, Dylan. Stop with your bullshit.
Come on. By the way, 19-year-olds.
Does everybody love these crazy
men than COVID is?
See, I've got all kinds of alarms from the Navy that I can just start like screaming into the mic and just completely just fuck over everybody's ears, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even get into the ooga, right? So I'm going to
call for the pack.
I'm going to attempt to bring the energy in the room back to right here again.
Amen.
Right? And we all understand that whenever people start yelling, they start using language like GD, which I specifically don't fucking like. If we could just not do that.
Or homophobic
slurs. It's like all of these plethoras of words that can be used, right? Don't use TOS and don't say GD. Right?
Also, I want to use the.
Can I also throw it out there that the guy with the purple background, he used the R slur, and I don't want to offend people like Redneck and Robe here, so I don't want to offend them with that type of language either.
What I don't understand is how.
Bro, come on.
Your feelings? I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Okay.
Dylan, where did you post that? Where did you post that link?
Just right up, and you're gonna throw him under the
right
bus?
over.
Dylan.
I just don't understand how Redneck is some like grand wizard of like the understander of racism, yet he drops the CS slur in regards to homophobia.
What's the CS slur?
Called someone a sea sucker.
That's not a slur.
That's not. Oh no, that's not
Dylan.
That's not homophobic.
Guys, I've been quiet. I just have a question. Dylan, where did you post that link?
Which link? Oh, I posted it in my chat. Did you want it?
Yeah, can you send it? I want to see what you're talking about with Lindsey Graham, because Lindsey Graham doesn't control his state, Lindsey Graham is vaccinated. Lindsey Graham made a speech in October or August where he said it's your choice. I would recommend it. So I don't know why you're using him as
I'm using
his state is so bad.
I can agree with the data he's citing and disagree with his conclusion, right? For example, let's say that I cited like a statistic that was 100% true and you would all have to agree with it. That doesn't mean you have to agree with my conclusion based on what you do. He was making a speech to a crowd who then booed him afterwards for saying that it was your choice because he said that people should. He recommends the vaccine, and then they all booed him. A crowd of mostly 70 and 80-year-olds, by the way. Like the elderly, the people who should not be tricked into this anti-vaxxer nonsense. The people who are the most susceptible to dying from COVID, you know?
What do you
or having a severe reaction?
I had to change my head.
I'm still trying to figure out what is the R word?
It's in your chat. Let me. You're still streaming? I'll get it out of your chat.
I sent it to you, Buckeye.
I'm trying to figure out what is the R word?
Oh, there you are.
The R word. The R word.
Looking like Dan Crenshaw.
It's the word retard. That word.
Yeah, it's retard.
Oh, well, I'm sorry it offends people, but you know what? I'm
just thinking of Redneck's feelings here.
Way back, whenever you wasn't even alive, that defined stupid people. People need to understand.
I'm not offended. I'm offended on behalf of the other panelists here today, and yourself, to be honest.
But that was a word used before you were born.
Right, it's right over. It's not clicking.
So you need to understand how we spoke back in the fucking 90s and 80s.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, Dylan, I have a question for you.
Quit being a soft-hearted fucking pussy and get the fuck over it.
No, dude, you're just clueless. Don't worry about it, okay?
Okay, Dylan, I have a question for you. If you want these vaccine mandates, and how do you feel about
just not use the R word? Because I'm pretty sure it's fucking TOS.
It actually, technically, it isn't, which a lot of people are not happy with, because for somehow the C word is. That one isn't, though. It's
Well, let's just not get into that whole... Unless you're using it in a proper fucking...
Yeah, it's an actual medical term.
If there's another word that can be used to describe it, then just pick that one, okay? I don't like people taking liberties with my TOS.
Fair enough.
Like, how do you feel about... You have these vaccine mandates. These businesses are suffering. Like, businesses are shutting down. They have to have their own employees be basically the agents of the health departments that are saying, okay, we're going to have a vaccine mandate. Now I have to hire more employees. I have to check everybody at the door. You think that's a good thing? You think that this is going to be an economic boom for America? How do you feel about that?
I believe that is a necessary health precaution to save lives and our healthcare system. And I am willing to pay the cost that entails. I do believe that the state should do its best to support small businesses that are suffering during this time period. I also believe that any lockdown should come immediately with a subsidy to small businesses across the country that would be affected by the lockdown, which is further than what I think a lot of my contemporaries would go.
Okay.
Well, I'll vote for you, sir. No, but that was a very political way to say that.
Thank you very much, Brento.
Yes.
Changing minds one at a time.
But where does this money come from? You think the taxpayer has to subsidize the business?
For everybody's health and benefit, yes, because I believe everyone benefits from us having COVID vaccination and us all like.
Fuck me.
What did you do 3 years ago?
Where it actually comes from is it comes from people subscribing to the channel.
And amen. I think people in my chat and CTV's chat should drop primes, gifted subs, tier 1s, donations, whatever you need to support us through these tough times.
Ooh, got him. See, now I'm fucking people up for y'all.
There you go.
Literally what I'm doing.
I just posted TOS in your general chat in Discord.
And hey, Spectre, how's it going?
Hey, not bad. How's it going, guys?
What's up, Spectre?
Hey, dude.
How you doing, buddy? People ask me all the time, they go, CTV, how do you have so many friends on the left? And I just say, I'm not a fucking dickhead.
It's really not that difficult, yeah. It's
yeah.
pretty much just have manners.
Yeah, lefties like me, Redneck, and Spectre, you know, we get along with people who disagree. Redneck, turn that frown
Redneck
upside down, you know?
There we go.
Redneck does keep on bringing up these night.
To me,
Smile.
this is
I'm
not
sorry.
a
I'll let you
fucking.
finish. Never
This,
mind.
I'm extremely passionate about this, and I think that you guys would be the advocate for it. And this is where I believe the left fails, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you are exemplifying elitism and the white progressive model with your behavior here. When you blatantly say it's for society's greater good. Do you know who else used that line? Do you know who else used that line?
Let me guess, Hitler?
Oh, well, why did you use me then? Like, you already know the answers. You've already seen this before.
You know who else said that? JFK.
What?
I mean, like a lot of people believe in the greater good. Is JFK Hitler now?
Wait. What speech was that in that he said that? What writing? I'm curious, actually.
Wait, Redneck. What do you mean, what happened to JFK? Are you saying that I'm going to get shot? Like, what do you mean? Like, what?
No, I'm saying...
How is that relevant?
JFK, if you want to bring up anything with JFK, I believe he probably was going to be one of the better presidents ever since Lincoln. Point blank. For civil rights, for capitalism, civil rights, and all that.
Hey, Lincoln was willing to fight a civil war for the greater good, too. Was he Hitler?
I believe, but in a lot of ways, the reason he got shot as well is because of why. Why did Hitler get? I mean, why did Lincoln?
Well,
get
Hitler
shot?
got shot because he lost, and he had.
No, Dylan, please. I'm trying to keep it calm and ask you some simple questions, man. Don't.
Why did JFK get shot? Because I mean, okay.
Why did Lincoln get shot? Why did Lincoln get shot?
Because there was somebody, Mr. Booth, okay, who was like, I love the Confederacy. The Confederacy's cool. The slavery stuff should be preserved, and Lincoln destroyed, white man's and went up and fucking capped him. It was bad.
So why was JFK shot? Why was JFK shot? What was he passing?
Okay,
what was he pushing?
So let me be honest. I don't agree with most JFK.
Mustang, appreciate the 100 bits, honey.
I don't want to get into a JFK conspiracy hour. I believe he was shot because Lee Harvey Oswald was a psychopath. Okay.
Wow.
So you don't believe there was any connection with him?
I have no.
Trying to push.
By the way, wait. If that was the case, if JFK's civil rights agenda was why he was shot, then that was the worst thing that could possibly happen if you're trying to stop civil rights. Because the person who came after him, LBJ, was like past civil rights like a maniac. He had the levers.
He was the biggest
Let me finish my statement before you interrupt me. Okay. Number one, he wasn't the biggest racist in the world. Was he racist? Yes, but let's back it up, okay? Remember, this is the same age of George Wallace, segregation forever. So I think there were people more racist than LBJ, okay? You don't need to paint every Democrat as a racist to win a debate, okay? Look, so LBJ, whether you hate him personally or not, I don't really care about a politics personal life. I didn't care about Bill Clinton with his wife. I don't care about Trump and his wife. I don't care about any of that stuff unless there's some hypocrisy in it, of course, right? Like a politician saying I hate the gays and then going and blowing a dude in like a bathroom. Then I care. So LBJ, whether you think he was personally racist or not, right? He knew how to manipulate the Senate very well when it came to the levers of power, and was the reason that we were able to get so much civil rights legislation passed. So if the reason they shot JFK was to stop civil rights, that was a dumbass thing to do. I don't know why they did that.
Hold on,
everybody.
Hold on. Apparently Destiny wants to join. I sent Destiny an invite to the Discord. So as soon as he gets here,
another Democrat racist coming in here. I can't believe it.
Be more than happy to have Destiny in here.
By the way, can I just say, these Hitler comparison, racist accusation, this is the stuff I thought was the left's job, to call everyone Hitler or racist. And that's what you're doing right now, Redneck.
Don't be confused.
I'm asking you the question. I'm like, I thought y'all would be the one saying this is racist to force this shit on our people of color and our black family. Like,
I'm forcing it equally. But this is like saying if I was to give
no, you're not.
Look, if I'm doing something that disproportionately helps. Number one, yes, I am across all races. I'm not saying only vaccinate black people. Okay, if I was to do this across all racial backgrounds. Oh, hello, Destiny. All racial backgrounds, all people, I want to be vaccinated. Now, if you were to hold the logic that because it affects one group of people disproportionately benefiting them, that it's racist, then I would say the same thing about any social program. Then you would have to make the argument that social programs are classist because they disproportionately help the poor. That doesn't make any sense.
Let me ask you this again.
People do say that.
One more time.
Yeah, and I think they're stupid.
I'm going to ask you this one more time.
I don't agree with them.
Do you really don't comprehend how many people in America don't trust the government when it comes to this? You really just kind of gloss that number, and you don't. Dylan, wait. I'm being as genuine and as fucking real as I can. You literally, that is the elitist behavior, though. I'm telling you it. I'm sitting here saying, man, listen, the family, they don't want to get this shit because they don't trust the government. And when the government is trying so fucking hard and actually forcing it, you lose, and you're going to lose. And I don't understand why you don't. Why I don't understand how you don't see this
is
as
the
an
same
individual
thing
right.
people said about seatbelts. And you want to know what happened with time? Seatbelts are now not only the legal law of the land, it's also a social norm.
Dylan,
Nobody
let me.
Yes, and I know the history of this legislation too. And the thing is, I just don't think right now that we can just let this pass by and allow the healthcare system to be burdened and allow other people to get hurt because somebody decided to play doctor on the internet and think Facebook should be their medical advisor. I don't believe that.
Dylan, what the hell were you doing 3 years ago?
What do you mean?
Fucking cold. What were you doing 6 years ago?
Wait. When did I have a cold?
COVID. I'm asking you, when you were a kid, anytime before 2020, if you got sick, how did your normal life look like? You still went out of the house when you started to feel better. You still could have been carrying something. You were still passing it along. You were still wiping your hand on your face and touching doors. Like you were living life. And right now, this is not.
Okay, number one, I got vaccinated for it's a good thing to do, and I suggest everyone else do it, just like you should get vaccinated for COVID. Number two, when I caught the flu, I stayed in my room because I didn't want to get other people sick. And that's what I think everybody else should do when they get the flu.
Bro,
and then when let me finish.
That's
then when I finished with the flu, then I went back out into the world. Vaccinated, by the way, for the flu.
But bro, you were allowed to make that choice, and then when you lived your life because you were vaccinated, you walked around society. You didn't care who was vaccinated. You didn't really pay attention to any of the other things.
By the way, I believe there should be vaccines to go to school. I believe there should be vaccine mandates to do these things. Look, if you want to ask me, do I think people should have to be vaccinated with the flu to go to school? Yes, I do believe that. The same thing with a lot of other vaccines like smallpox.
Do you realize that that science is on my side when I say this? And I know you're gonna say I'm crazy, but science is on my side when I say this.
Look, but you've lied 3 or 4 times just today to me. I'm just not gonna believe you. You got to show me the evidence first.
I want to hear the science. What's the science?
No matter how many times you make a vaccine, nature's gonna find a way around it. We cannot antiseptic our ass out of these situations. As a society as a whole, the best thing we can do is teach personal hygiene.
Didn't we eliminate multiple diseases like polio?
It still exists.
Yeah, why? Because people weren't getting vaccinated.
Why did it come back?
Why did it come back, Redneck?
Okay, what do you have to say to my 2 cousins who had a stroke after they had the vaccine?
I would say that they're more likely to have myocarditis after having COVID with that than they are that have it after having a vaccine. And that's been demonstrated. So I'm sorry that happened to your 2 cousins. But statistically for society, I'm not going to make prescriptions based on what happens to 2 people.
Mandated to take a drug that is going to give them a stroke.
Okay, firstly, vaccines don't give people strokes. Where is this idea coming from?
The vaccine gave 2 of my cousins a stroke. I witnessed it firsthand.
Yeah, so they're either lying or you're a sucker. The chances that you had
lying, it happened.
Well, you could be lying too, right? I don't know.
I'm not lying. This is a real thing that happened.
You understand that, right? Almost 10 billion doses of this vaccine have gone out. The chances that you have 2 cousins that had that adverse of reaction is less likely than all of us winning a lottery ticket simultaneously.
It can be really likely if they share something in common that makes it happen.
No. You could say it's not common, but why are we mandating it? That is my argument, is that you can get the vaccine. If you want to get the vaccine, that's great. But once you mandate something that is giving a bad outcomes to people, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Okay,
why is the government even involved?
Wait. Who's mandating it?
Let's apply our brain for 2 seconds, okay? So we don't mandate things because they make everything better for everybody. And we don't not mandate things because they might make something bad for one person. All of these things are a cost-benefit analysis. There are some people that die in car accidents because their seatbelt gets stuck and then their car explodes and they get burned alive. That doesn't mean that we stop mandating seatbelts because some people are hurt. If we're talking about a vaccine mandate or having everybody vaccinated, it's not because there are 0 side effects. It's because the extremely small amount of side effects are going to be outweighed by the public good of having the public at large protected from the coronavirus spreading through society. That's the reason why it's mandated, not because there are no side effects ever.
How can you
the
argue
difference
that?
being the cost
How can you
benefit
argue-
analysis between the individual and the cost benefit analysis for society?
I mean, that's what we do publicly when we exercise our democratic right to vote. What do you mean?
I just don't understand how you can argue that you have to get a vaccine and then be on the opposite side when it comes to abortion. It's like, it's my body. Let me do what I want. I don't understand the argument.
Because
if you don't get the vaccine, then the thing stays with us.
Your aborted baby doesn't crawl into other people's bodies, right? That's the
Okay, but
difference.
if you have a vaccine, you can still get COVID.
Destiny, you're definitely old enough to know better than this bullshit. You've lived long enough you're old enough. You've been in society long enough to know.
Unlike me.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. I'm being really nice today. You need better things to say to me than you're old enough, or else I'm about to get really mean in here. So I'm going to need a better argument than you're old enough. Okay? Try again.
Your life experience that you have.
Mm-hmm.
You've experienced life pre-COVID.
I have never experienced a virus like this virus. I haven't lived through that. I don't know if
I mean,
you know what the colds I got 3 years ago didn't do, Redneck? They didn't give me myocarditis. They didn't give me brain fog for months afterwards. They didn't give me permanent lung damage, right? Like, we're absolutely correct. This is a little bit more serious what we're dealing with now. And you don't get the right to, like, necessarily spread it to whoever the fuck you want just because you don't want to get vaccinated unless you have a, like, actual medical exemption, which is fine. If you're immunocompromised, nobody's going to make you get vaccinated. But and to the person who said that you can still get fucking COVID with the vaccine, of course you can. Nobody said it's 100% effective. It does reduce the rate at which you get it, though.
Boys, Destiny is one of my movers and shakers.
It's how math works. We've tried to explain this to people for 8
never
months.
Gonna go away.
I don't understand.
99.8
never
is
gonna
the
go away.
worst statistic number you have, and you guys are sitting here acting like we got the fucking plague.
Yeah, it's
wait. Myocarditis that happens after like 19-year-olds get vaccinated, like it's an every time thing, and it's like permanent myocarditis from the actual fucking virus.
And let's be clear, okay? Unless somebody else here says some really dumb shit, nobody here is arguing that this is like a 20% mortality virus, okay? The problem is that it selects for certain populations that are very much at risk, and it can be transmitted from people that are very much not at risk, right? I'm probably never going to die to anything like this or even have that much of a long-term effect. But I don't get vaccinated for me. I get vaccinated for the older people in society that might have a very negative side effect, or people with a lot of comorbidities like diabetes or obesity, which are very common things in the United States. That this 99.8 number, when a virus is infecting like every motherfucker in society, it's a pretty big deal. I mean, we've got almost 1 million people dead over the United States. You can scream 99.8 until you're blue in the face, but that is a really fucking huge number for a virus that's supposedly not a big deal.
So I have to take a risk. I have to take a risk taking a vaccine when somebody decided to eat too much food and got obese and they have a comorbidity. Like what I don't understand how.
So like my father didn't eat too much food and get diabetes and the other 2 immune diseases that he has that makes it where I can't see him now. All right. Like he just like lost the genetic lottery. So fuck you. Like there are people who are immunocompromised.
Because my cousin took the vaccine and had a stroke. So fuck you. You want to do this? We can do this all day, dude. You want to do this all day? That's fine. But you don't understand what I'm saying is you're mandating me getting a shot in my body. Mandating. I cannot go to the grocery store.
Yeah, it would be better for everybody. It'd be great for the economy. I'd appreciate it a lot.
In my state, I am facing something where I cannot go to a bar. I can't go to a restaurant unless I have a vaccine where... For me, it's more dangerous to get a vaccine than it is to get COVID. So why is it mandated?
Wait.
It doesn't even sound like it's mandated. It sounds like you have to learn how to cook and drink at home.
There are philosophical reasons.
Like a hermit?
We can argue against why we should or shouldn't have a mandate for the vaccine. That's fair. But don't pretend that it's more dangerous for you to get vaccinated than it is for you to get the coronavirus. That's just not true. That's just completely bunk. Now, if you want to argue that like the chances of you having a serious side effect from the coronavirus is very small, I'll admit that. Anyone that says differently is stupid. Chances are you can get infected 2 times, you'll be fine. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. But the chances that you're going to get a fucking shot and you're going to be like epileptic, passing out, having a fucking stroke in the hallway, that is equally fucking delusional as anybody in the left telling you that if you get infected, you're going to die. That's just not true. Again, we're at like almost 10 billion doses, okay? It's either the most well-kept secret of all time or you're consuming way too much biased media about vaccines if you truly believe you have 2 family members that had strokes directly related to this vaccination.
It was days after. How are you telling me I'm lying? I'm not lying to you. It happened. I watched it. I saw it in the hospital.
Okay, what do you think? I'm This isn't even a debate. I just in your mind. So you think you have 2 family members that had a stroke over this?
I'm not thinking. I saw it. It happened. It's
Where are okay, you watched them in front of you. They told you, I can feel the vaccine entering my brain, and then they had a stroke. Okay? Where are the millions of other people having strokes because of these vaccines? Where are they?
What do you mean, where are they? You can look it up. There is data showing that it is more dangerous for a young male to get the vaccine.
Hold on. That's not what I'm asking. Hold on. Think. Just listen to me for a second, okay? If we have billions of people on this planet, billions of people, that's a really big number, billions of people on this planet that have gotten multiple vaccines at this point, and you're telling me you had 2 family members, okay, that on their way to the ground was screaming at you, I got vaccinated, I'm having a stroke because of it, right? Where are all of the other people having strokes? There should be YouTube videos, there should be fucking cell phone.
People having
Hold on.
They are showing up.
I don't know. I don't mean the same 3 people that are passed around on Project Veritas and Instagram, okay? Like the fucking oldest hookers. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying there should be thousands or tens of thousands or millions of people with these stories about the strokes. It's not. It's always the same 4 or 5 ones.
Okay, can I also just
Can you define what on their way to the ground means?
This is what I mean. Like, why are you mandating it? Why are you mandating it? Answer that question. You keep saying like, yeah.
I already told you the answer. The answer is because it's a highly infectious disease that seems like it can wreak a lot of havoc through society, and we have a really low cost benefit thing. We have a very low
98%. 98 fucking percent's the worst number.
900,000. Okay, what about the 800,000, 900,000, 1 million dead?
How many did we lose every year pre?
Do you want to talk about excess deaths? Do you want to just do excess deaths then?
Sure. I mean, even excess deaths. I got you, but didn't we have what I was getting to with you earlier when I was saying that you've been around the world long enough, like me? I mean, I'm way older, so if I offend you by calling your age out, I'm sorry.
Can I just
bring some times where we had some peak flu seasons. We had some serious peak flu seasons. And earlier I brought up with Dylan that in society, when AIDS became the epidemic, I was a teenager when it popped. And it's like, I saw firsthand what our government did to people because of AIDS, and what it didn't even lock down this bad. And that fucking disease, they had that shit saying, holy crap, it's going to kill the whole world. Okay, you couldn't go to the dentist.
You couldn't
go. I mean, you know.
Hold on. 2 huge things, okay? Number 1, HIV is not airborne. I can't cough and give somebody HIV except in an exceptional circumstance. So number 1.
Yeah, but they didn't know that.
That's a big part.
We didn't know that back then.
Sure, we might know that back then. We didn't know that back then.
But we know COVID.
1. Yeah, but number 2, okay, when you talk about a bad flu season, my memory, and I could be wrong, if someone wants to throw a number at me, you can correct me. My understanding is a bad flu season was like, I think 60 to 80,000 dead tops. That was a bad flu season. And that's with no lockdowns, no masks, no mass vaccinations.
And that wasn't counting comorbidities. Every death ever since COVID has had COVID tagged to it if the deceased either tested positive with COVID and or was exposed to COVID. That is factual. So you can't just inflate these numbers and say, 800,000 people died of COVID when every fucking death, including my father-in-law who just got through passing away on the 23rd of a failed heart condition, they tried to put COVID on his ass. He didn't have COVID.
Okay, do you think then, because this might just come out of factual thing. Okay, so people have been tracking the excess deaths, and everybody that follows the numbers says that we're likely miscounting the number of COVID deaths because it's probably lower than it should be. You think that it's way higher than it should be? Do you think that we've had way less people dying from the coronavirus, or do you just not think a comorbidity is like a real cause of death, or what do you mean by that?
I actually think I'm more of the I think that we are trying to make ourselves too sterile. And I think we've actually created I think because so many people got vaccinated early and didn't go through the first wave, and now it's been able to just become something else. It is like Omicron. My understanding. Hey, Dylan, please, for Christ's sake, you tell nobody to.
You're backpedaling from earlier. Earlier, you said there was only 354 actual COVID cases.
Dylan,
3 hours ago, you told me that.
Oh, dang it, Dylan! I told you I was being facetious. Stop doing this.
So you do think it's less then?
Dylan. Just
mind
your business right now. Let me answer. You're making up. I told you it was a joke earlier. Can you not understand? I said I was being facetious.
It was a joke. Yeah, I'm sure it was a joke.
Okay, what were you saying?
The point is that every death is being calculated. Yeah, Omicron currently does not have the same traits as the original COVID that everybody was vaccinated for. Hence why they said that if you were vaccinated only once and you haven't had any of the boosters, it isn't going to help you. So you have to get boosters. Is that a factual statement or not?
I think boosters help. I think if you had the original vaccines, the mRNA ones, you still have some protection against hospitalization, but not as much. But what about it?
If it's older than 6 months, it's null and void. You have to re-get, right?
I don't think it's null and void, but I mean, like, I think there's still some protection. It's not like your immune system completely forgets in 6 months. That's my understanding.
Okay,
But
so when you talk about this, it's preventing death. That's what we're talking about. This thing is preventing death. Yet the death total is 98% at worst, and that's for the 80, like 65 plus with comorbidities. The risk and reward is not being done on the individual. It's only being the math is only being calculated to benefit big pharma and the government's authoritarianism. Like, I don't understand where all of y'all are not with us on this. I mean, we literally are sitting there going, you guys have been preaching my body, my choice for years. And yet now, because a bad cold or whatever, if it's nature, it's going to do what it's going to do. And no matter how many vaccines we create, every one of us know you can keep creating vaccines, but an illness is going to come. No matter how much antiseptic wipe you use on your hands, you're going to get sick. We could keep talking about protection,
okay,
but
wait, okay, sure. Let's just a couple things. Okay, so yeah, you can still get sick, but if you're vaccinated, the sickness will be so much less worse. Why is that always forgotten about?
But they're saying, but they have done no studies on those of us that caught it and have natural immunity. None.
They have. They compare it to natural immunity. What are you talking about? There's like a lot of studies comparing, or there's at least one big one that compares to natural immunity versus the mRNA vaccines. But it's harder to do these, to track these over time, because you need like a lot of months and you don't know who got it when or whatever. But there are studies out there. You can Google like natural immunity versus vaccines or whatever. Or what are you getting at?
I have a question for you, Destiny.
Also, one thing I just want to bring up: COVID-19 actually can cause strokes. That's from the British Medical Journal. I think it's
the coronavirus. Yeah, of course.
1.7% of people who catch COVID actually end up having a stroke.
Yeah, but they don't mandate COVID-19. They mandate the vaccine. I have a question for you, Destiny. Do you think that if we're going to mandate these vaccines and we have a booster now, what if we get to the 6th booster and the 7th booster and the 8th booster? Do you think that where does it end?
Bite the bullet.
I mean, I don't know. There are some shots that I get. I don't know how old you are, but there are some that every few years I go to the hospital, they recommend getting certain shots.
Okay, but they don't mandate it for me to go to a bar.
Yeah, maybe not. But I mean, for a lot of things, I don't know if like tetanus and all of that, or the Tdap. I don't know if a lot of those things are.
If you and your girlfriend want to go to a bar and you have to have an 8th booster, you're okay with that?
I mean, it depends on where we're at in terms of where the virus is. At this point, I'm against mandates just because people like you lose your mind over them. But in terms of like responsible public health, like, I mean, if that's what people decide, I mean,
when in history have we forced vaccinations upon the masses?
At some point, we're going to come across novel problems where we're not going to be able to say, when have we done this in history? So the interconnectedness that we have with the world right now is at a place where it's never been before. So when you ask me when in history have we mandated vaccines, we might have during the Spanish flu. I'm not sure. We might have during the thing that put kids in the iron lungs. Was that polio? I don't know if we mandated it back then or not, but like we're hitting stages where we need like novel solutions to novel problems. Like this is a pandemic. This pandemic spread faster. You acknowledge, right? This probably spread faster than anything else in human history has, right? Maybe unless.
But Destiny, my belief is if we would have. I said this early on, so I have to say it again. I'm one of those guys that said, let nature take its course, because I honestly believe we're sitting here. You guys you've drinking the Kool-Aid of a big pharma and government being able to prevent this from happening again in the near future, and we lose a whole bunch more people. What do you mean
lose? How do we lose more people? When you say let nature take its course, do we like stop giving people like insulin? What does that mean?
But just like Destiny, slow down. Just like you just got through saying that we're more interconnected than we have ever been. So unless we teach hygiene across the board, right? That's number one. We all know this is a basic fact. Hygiene. Washing your hands. How many men do we all watch walk out of a fucking bathroom at a public place and not wash their hands? Every one of us can admit we've seen that shit. I'm a germphobe when it comes to it. I wash my hands. I wash my shit. So y'all can say whatever you want about redneck, but I wash my fucking hands after I go to the bathroom. Actually, when I go in and when I come out. So I am literally that guy. That is the first step. But we can sit here and talk about vaccines, medications. Sure, they help slow down the progress of a disease. They help prevent you from dying from it. They help. I got you. But there's still more diseases coming. And if we're going to keep waiting on governments to help us, or we're going to just keep popping in shit they want us to, we're going to create ourselves into what? Some big sterilized bubble?
It's not never going to happen. The point of creating a big sterilized bubble. It's that there are probably some.
That's the argument you're using.
It's not the argument I'm using. So you keep saying this, more diseases are coming. Nobody is saying that we should be afraid of every single disease ever. But there probably are some diseases that we should take more seriously than others. a highly infectious one that through all of these crazy fucking mandates for masks and social distancing and vaccines and everything else still manages to kill hundreds of thousands of people in the US every single fucking year is probably one of those viruses that calls for a higher attention paid to it. I think that's fair for people to feel that way about that. I don't think it's that out of line to say, hey, here's a virus that in the past, 2 years has killed almost 1 million people, even with all the mandates in place. Like, yeah, maybe if we need to have a public vaccine program for this, maybe this is something that we have to do in order to like get ourselves to the next step. I don't think that's that ridiculous.
But you have 2 states alone, Texas and Florida, that have maintained for almost the whole entirety, no mandates, no mask, and are living life, and every other state are visiting them. So it's not like we're going to sit here and act like this is not happening. You guys are talking about locking down, but the majority of all the lockdowns are happening in what? Where's it happening? This is a political issue, and we're all skating around it. And I would wish our family on the left would be with us on this, because this is where we can all agree: government, big government, bad. Don't force this on anybody. Have your individual freedoms, and let's move forward together. That's what we're all preaching. And that's why when we go to this my body, my choice, Tiberius asked it earlier, and I got to give him credit. It is a true statement. Either as a conservative, I'm one of the guys that has to say, yes, you're right. You can have an abortion without a fucking statement, because it is, to me, it's her choice. I have some nuances, but I have to let it go. This is the same argument. And whether y'all want to accept that or not, that's where we have the problem. That is it.
Do you think if I have HIV, should I be able to knowingly fuck people with that disease without having to disclose that?
But Destiny, you know, it did happen. You know that's why.
No, whoa. I need you to answer that question. If I knowingly have HIV, or I think there's a good chance of it, should I be allowed to fuck?
No, it's attempted murder. It's
okay,
attempted
then why
murder.
are you allowed to
You're allowed in California.
Why are you allowed to fuck other people then? And that's not true. Whoever said that about California.
You're not. You're
okay.
not.
No, but you are
because
arguing
you
that you should be able to
you
walk
don't
around.
know.
Okay,
Slow down.
Okay, hold on.
Slow
Okay,
down.
let's say that I just engage in a lot of homosexual activities with a lot of other people that might have HIV. Should I be able to walk around and fuck other people with no responsibility to it, or do you think I should have
It
some
happens
level?
every day.
That's not what I'm asking you. I'm not asking. Hold on. Yeah, answer the question. I'm not asking you if it happens every day. I'm not asking you about the past. I'm asking you right now, if somebody is knowingly engaging in incredibly risky behavior and they are continuing to do it with other people, do they have some kind of moral responsibility or obligation, or even a social responsibility to tell future partners, hey, I might have HIV?
It's not. Hey, bro, if they know, I am with you. If they know, if you know, if I know I have a disease that can hurt or kill someone else, my fucking core will not allow me to go out and expose you to that. But you're not giving me the choice, because you're automatically assuming I'm a piece of shit. You're on the safe side because you're saying, oh, well, my vaccine prevents me from passing that.
You're rambling, so I'm going to ask the question again, okay? If I'm engaging in a lot of risky behavior, and I know there's a good chance I could have HIV, but I haven't been tested for it, do I have some sort of social and moral responsibility there to my future partners to let them know?
Do you know you have it or not?
Chance you could, but you're not testing for it. You don't care.
Okay. Is it my place morally to tell you what your morals are? That's your question.
Yeah.
No, it's not my place.
Okay, so if I want to rape somebody, can I do that since it's not your place to tell me what my morals are?
Destiny, if you want to rape somebody, you're going to do it whether I tell you not to.
Well, if I'm going to mandate people to have vaccines,
why do we have laws in general? Actually, if this is the way that we're going to do things, like, I mean, you can't make people do shit, right?
Y'all tell me to answer your questions, but you still didn't answer mine.
What is I don't even know what you're
abortion. What is the difference between abortion and mandating a vaccine? Are you kidding me?
You literally already answered this. The baby doesn't crawl up into somebody else and get them sick.
Wait, why are you shaking your head? This is like so
obvious.
You can
still get sick if you have the vaccine.
It's not about you can get sick. It's that if you do get sick, it's going to be much worse, and you probably have a lesser chance.
But
none of it is.
Are you okay with mandating that fat people should get skinny then, because they're overwhelming the healthcare system too when they get COVID?
No.
Okay, so that's the same argument.
It's not the same argument because in one you're pointing out like mandating an entire lifestyle change, and another you're mandating a 15-minute trip to the fucking grocery store.
You're mandating my lifestyle change when you're saying I have to get a vaccine if I want to go to the bar, if I want to go hang out with my friends and do anything fun. That's the same exact thing. That's the same exact thing. I don't understand how you don't understand this.
The difference is because there's a different level of commitment required for you to mandate one thing versus another.
Pause for a moment. Ranger, I got to step away for a sec to walk the dog. Anybody gets out of line, you know what to do.
Also, for whoever brought up Florida, like I'm looking at I'm just curious. I looked at the death rates from coronavirus per capita, and like the highest ones are we've got Mississippi, Alabama, New Jersey, Louisiana, Arizona, Oklahoma, then New York, Arkansas, Georgia, and Florida. That's a lot of red states, and Florida's coming in at rank 10 there. So I don't think Florida's a good example of like, well,
okay, New York is higher than Florida. I was just in Florida. There was no masks. Everybody was in a bar. I was in a bar. We were all hanging out, having a good
Probably
time.
why it's in the top 10.
Wait, can you tell me why you think New York is higher? I'm just so curious.
You just said it. I'm just
curious why you think it might be higher. Why you think it might be
because there's more people. I understand that, but does New York have a vaccine mandate to go into a bar, to go into any type of establishment that isn't essential? Okay. Is that not true?
Is what not true? I didn't miss the first part of what you said.
Does New York not have a mandate that you need to have a vaccine to enter establishment that isn't essential?
Well, I don't know right now.
That is true. That is true.
Wait, to be clear, Robe, don't you think it has anything to do with the density, the difference in density between?
Can I finish? So now Florida
hold on, wait. I got one question. Wait, real quick, Robe Mike. When did the mandates go into effect for New York?
It doesn't matter when.
Hold on, no. It absolutely matters. Okay?
No, it doesn't matter. It absolutely matters. I've visited both states. I've seen both situations. Florida is living free. They are walking around. They are just hugging. Everybody's in a bar. They're close together.
Let me tell you,
There's no COVID.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you the answer. Okay, so New York is an incredibly densely packed area, and it was one of the hardest hit places early on because that is some of the most international travel probably in the world. Okay,
and you're telling me Key West doesn't? You're telling me Miami doesn't have it?
First of all, Key West is not in Miami, and secondly, Miami probably doesn't have as much international travel as New York.
Okay. All right. So COVID's not going everywhere, but Florida all of a sudden doesn't have any type of
Hold on. When you brought up the fact that New York has a lot of deaths, you're trying to point to the fact that lockdowns fail. If you look up the deaths from the coronavirus in New York, it is unbelievably front-loaded. Like the vast majority of these deaths happen in early 2020. This had nothing to do with lockdowns or mandates. It had to do with the fact that the virus was here. We had nothing we could do about it.
My whole argument is mandates. My whole argument is about the mandate. I don't care. If you want to get a vaccine, get a vaccine. That's fine.
That started to go down.
No. If you want to get a vaccine, get a vaccine. But don't mandate me to do it. That's my whole argument. Why does
so no one's mandating you to do it?
Control everyone's body. I don't understand this. You guys were arguing against abortion for how many years?
You want to have everybody let somebody fund you at some point.
Isn't there something interesting about the fact that out of all those states, the vast majority of those states were red states, even though the blue states are the one that's fucked. Blue states are overwhelmed. Let me finish. Redneck, shut the fuck up. Okay, the blue states overwhelmingly filled with cities, overwhelmingly dense areas. If you look at places like Maryland, if you look at places like Connecticut, if you look at places like Maine, if you look at places like New York, you're going to talk about states that cities dominate them, or they have cities that are densely packed. If anything, you should see the top 10 be full of blue states. But because blue states took COVID more seriously, they don't make up the majority of the top 10 states. It's red states.
No.
Bro, hang on.
No, I didn't address that. I never thought about that.
Hang on. I would ask y'all to actually look at the obesity rates in the top 10 states for obesity and kind of compare them. That's probably where we're at. Like, let's just be honest.
Are we going to mandate
the obesity rates? Really? Do you have anything to back that up?
Cigarettes? Are you going to mandate that you can't have alcohol? How many mandates do you want?
You're pivoting. You're pivoting. No, bro. You're not addressing my point whatsoever. Why is it that the majority is red states?
One question at a time.
Said it.
Dylan, go.
Why are the majority of these red states? Why are the majority of them red states then? Even though they should have the advantage because they're not majority city, they're not majority dense. Why are the majority of the top 10 red states?
You ready?
Before you answer, hold on, Redneck, just before you answer, right? I like to do, Destiny, this is what I try to do, man. I try to bring everybody back to the tone that I would like to hear in the room. That way everybody knows what to emulate, right? So for everybody that's getting loud and yelling, this is about the tone that we need to keep here in the house, right? Because if I wake my wife up trying to yell over y'all, then y'all are going to have a much bigger problem. You see, and I don't want to get the wife all pissed off. So, Redneck, go ahead and respond because Redneck had a response, and then we'll keep going from there.
I would love you to keep track of who elevates the volume this next time. And Robe Man, please take the mic about 5 inches off your face because you are so loud. I think that's why everybody's getting amped up.
Right,
Destiny,
we good?
I used the example. I was trying to answer you, Dylan, by saying what Destiny brought up earlier when he listed the 10. I said you could probably compare that to the most obese states.
I actually have that. I have that right here. By the way, the most obese states are red states, actually.
Right. So I'm actually saying that's why.
So you're saying that the majority of them are red states. And wait, so if anything, so that means the red states more than anything needs to be the states that have lockdowns. If anything, red states should be having the lockdowns before blue states if they're the ones that have the most vulnerable populations.
Nobody's
arguing for lockdowns. Answer this one question. Are you okay?
Okay, never mind
that people have to get skinny.
No, one's okay with that. We've explained why. Like you can keep on asking.
But that's the same idea. That's the same argument that you're coming with when you're saying that it's overwhelming the healthcare system. Yes, it is. How is it not?
If the coronavirus vaccine was like a 3-series like battery of like painful huge needles going into your spine or stomach or something, I don't think anybody would be talking about mandating the vaccines. It's the idea that there is such an immense public benefit for such a small and tiny personal trade-off. That's why people are talking about mandating vaccines. You're talking about making obese people be thin. You're talking about mandating an entire lifestyle change.
Okay.
I really wish I followed.
That's how tyranny happens.
I really wish I followed you more, Destiny, to actually understand more of your takes, because I could have swore, like I'm still in shock. I've been offline for about 4 months. I've come back and I'm seeing all of the left be lockstep with big pharma, the message, and let's force it. Like,
okay, wait, every single thing related to medicine. Hold on. Okay, first of all, trying to be anti whatever you put big in front of doesn't make you independent. It makes you a moron. Okay, so number one. Number two, any possible thing that has to do with medicine is going to align you with big pharma, okay? So if you get chemotherapy, are you aligned with big pharma? Or if you get surgery, are you aligned with big pharma? Or if you have pain medication for a headache, are you aligned with big pharma? If you get your wisdom teeth pulled out, is that big dentistry? Like, what is that? That statement doesn't mean anything.
Do you believe, but hang on, do you believe in natural immunities? Do you believe in natural cures?
I absolutely I believe in natural immunity. That's why I'm vaccinated, yes.
Do you believe in natural medicines?
If it works, it's called medicine. I don't know what natural medicine means.
Well, natural would be organic, not made in a lab, not created. It's actually on the earth. You just go and pick it and brew it or make it. Do you believe in actual medicine that's from the earth and not made by man?
Crystal mom behavior.
I mean, like, I guess a lot of the man-made medicine is derived from plants and trees and shit.
So when we talk about, what did you, I was trying to get you to answer, what did you do pre-COVID when you were living your life all normal? Right? When you had a flu, when you had a cold.
COVID doesn't affect COVID. Even right now, for me, nothing is different. I don't care if I get it. Technically, if I get sick, it doesn't really affect me. The problem is the other people in society that are more at risk than me. That's the issue. It's a societal buy-in.
Okay, so when you say
Destiny, can you walk me through that for a second? How is it that because you believe in natural immunity that you're vaccinated? Because those two things are incongruent with each other.
Because vaccines, the only type of immunity you can have is a natural immunity. That's when you get a vaccine to build an immunity towards something.
Do you understand that these vaccines that they have are not like typical vaccines?
I understand a great deal about the vaccines. They're not like typical vaccines, but they still give you the same immunity that you would from any other vaccine.
Okay, so you're okay with mandating an experimental vaccine?
They're not experimental because they have FDA authorization, number one, and number two, any new medical treatment isn't going to just be shunned because it's a new medical treatment. When the first vaccine came out, it was the first vaccine. You need more than that to make it bad.
What mechanism with the vaccine is experimental?
mRNA.
It's never been done before?
I'm not saying it hasn't been done, but I'm saying there is no long-term studies.
So it's not experimental then, is it?
No, we're talking about mandating it. This is the thing. You guys want to sit here and talk about like, oh, it's okay. It might be fine. I'm not saying it's going to kill me. I'm not the guy who says that Bill Gates is controlling the 5G chips and all this shit. All I'm saying is don't mandate what I'm going to put in my body so I can go out to the bar with my wife tonight. That's all I'm saying. What is the problem with that?
I mean, like, in a roundabout way, we already do so much anyway, right? Like, there's FDA's mandates, all sorts of mandates for food.
No,
so
this is a first. This is a first. There has never been something that has said I cannot go out to a bar unless I put something in my body.
When has that ever happened? I mean, technically, I'm just saying that, like, there's a million. The water you drink has fluoride in it. The eggs you get from chickens.
It doesn't matter.
Like, there's
I don't have to mandatorily. There is not mandatory for me to drink fluoride water to go to the bar.
It's not mandatory for you to go to the bar.
Okay,
True.
So what do you want to do? You want to have a second class? You want to have a second class citizen who is just going to sit in their house all day and not do anything because they didn't get the vaccine?
Sure.
What?
So wait. You not being able to go to a
that?
bar to a restaurant makes you a second class citizen because you voluntarily choose not to get a vaccine. By the way, it's not even a mandate, dude. It's literally just saying like, hey, if you want to go into these like crowded areas where people don't
you
wear
voluntarily
masks
choose to put clothes on every morning to go into any business. Okay, is that a second class citizen? Anybody who puts on clothes?
Hold on, I really need you to answer this question, Roadman. Do you think this is the first time in this country a vaccine has been mandated? Do you think this is unprecedented? Do you think maybe we do this with other vaccines right now?
This argument I hate is we're sitting here 2021, right? Do you want to live in a world where you have to get mandated to put a medical experiment into your body to go out to the bar with your wife? That is my question.
About it? We just said that the mRNA stuff has been done like it's a mechanism that's been used in past vaccines. Like you conceded that point.
Why is the guy who created it not recommending that it be mandated?
Donald Trump? I don't know. Like that's the whole thing. You guys keep on talking about supporting big pharma.
The mRNA vaccines. Is that what you're saying?
Spectre, just stop with the bullshit, Spectre. You said you want to act like you're intelligent and all this other.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Have an honest question. We're not trying to look. I'm not trying to sit here and throw fucking shit at both of. Like I don't want to do this left right shit.
I'm literally trying to understand.
Redneck, you called me a racist because I'm in favor of vaccine mandates. What do you mean you're not going to throw shit? What do you mean?
I'm going to say it again. Here's why I say it's racist.
Redneck, because Destiny, you're racist too, by the way.
Direct group of individuals have been greatly affected by their government under the auspice of medical care. And those people include me. So that's why I get very heated and passionate about this. And then when it disproportionately affects those other family members that aren't me, it does greatly look racist, because if you start mandating that you can't go do this and you can't go work there,
you know what?
You can't do
I am the vaccine Gestapo. I'm part of the vaccine clan, and I'm gonna goose step a needle into everyone's arm. Also, the thing you brought up about obesity earlier, I just realized this. How the fuck does that matter? You being obese doesn't mean you catch it at higher rates. It just means it affects you at higher rates. It just means it does more damage to you. So how does that make sense? How does the obesity account for the fact that COVID rates are higher in red states? How does that account for that? That doesn't make any sense.
Because if most red states are obese, morbidly obese, right? That means they have a higher comorbidity rate.
No, but that doesn't mean they catch COVID at higher rates. That doesn't mean they catch it at higher rates. That's what I was talking about with the top 10 states.
Those that do catch it, I was asking you to compare what.
Yeah, but his list was not those who die. It was those who catch COVID. So being obese doesn't mean you catch COVID at higher rates. It means you die at higher rates. It has nothing to do with the rate you catch COVID.
Okay, but the whole argument is that the hospitals are getting overrun, right? So if you're obese, you are more likely to die from having COVID.
Yes.
So should we not mandate?
Yes, exactly. So the red states, which are obese and have higher rates of COVID, are the states that should be doing vaccine mandates, because they are the states that not only have.
There, Dylan,
what are you talking about?
Wait. Okay, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. Listen. Think about what you're saying.
Get them a gym pass, and let's get everybody slim down.
Okay.
That's what you're saying.
By the way, I agreed to that earlier. I didn't care. I bit that bullet. Destiny won't. Okay. Anyway, now what are we talking about earlier? They have these red states have obesity at higher rates. That doesn't mean they catch COVID at higher rates. So the rate of catching COVID is not affected by obesity at all. But what it does show is not only are they catching COVID at higher rates, but red states have a higher likelihood of dying because they're so obese. Therefore, if there's any states that should be having vaccine mandates, it should be the red states. They're the ones that are getting hit the hardest.
Okay, quick question. So you're going to tell your fat grandma, you're going to go say, hey, grandma, you're fat. Here's a gym pass. You have to go to the gym now. If you don't, we're going to put you, you're going to fine you.
Amen. Gym gulag. Yep.
Okay, there you go. That's my point.
Well, I want to answer a question that somebody asked earlier. Number one, by the way, this is Raven. Some of you don't know me. But number one, the Spanish flu, 500 million people worldwide got it. 675,000 Americans died from it. This was in 1918. So there weren't as many people here. So that's a high number when you talk about per capita. And then about the mandates, the first one was done by George Washington in 1777 when he mandated all the soldiers to get smallpox vaccine. Then Massachusetts did the first vaccine mandate, and then states from then on did all kinds. Then back, I can't remember what year it was. I've forgotten it. Children had to get the vaccine in order to go to school. We got smallpox. I was one of them. And you got smallpox, polio, and mumps, and a few others. I got the scar on my arm to show that. And the Supreme Court said that it was perfectly legal and that kids could not go to school if they did not have the vaccine. So there's been mandates for a long, long time.
Thank you. I actually didn't know that our proud tradition of like mandating vaccines went all the way back to George Washington. That's amazing.
Yep. I just looked it up. And
that's the first vaccine in history, isn't it?
It was the inoculation of the Continental Army, yeah.
Yeah, the Continental Army.
To be clear on that, I don't think he technically mandated vaccines, right?
Inoculation.
They were just rubbing infected smallpox clothing or something into wounds or something weird like that, I think, right?
But there are vaccines that are like mandated even today for like certain professions, right? Like this is something that the CDC does, like in both Republican and Democrat, like they recommend for like Democrat and Republican led states to do this, right? We have teachers that have to get certain vaccines. We have nurses, doctors that are required to get certain vaccines. Like they can't do their jobs that they like went to school for without getting these. It's a little bit more important than you go and you're getting your drink on at the bar. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but the problem is he would say that like you have a choice whether you want to work those jobs. You have significantly less choice on whether or not you want to engage completely with society, right?
I mean, you guys keep going to the simple as, oh, it's just, you're just going to be inconvenienced. But there's always been an exemption. Always. There's always been a choice. When you say mandating, you're not saying mandating. You were talking about military for George Washington. As I served in the military, I didn't get a choice. When I served in the military, I didn't get a choice. I didn't even know what the hell they were injecting me with. For me, I don't consider myself an anti-vaxxer. I've had vaccines before. I've had flu shots before. All of my kids, of course, go to public school. They had to get some shots. Like, I'm not that guy that's sitting here thinking, oh God, this medicine doesn't help. But it should be your choice.
I guess
you want us to accept to be able to go to school.
It's a precedent you
set.
Not
need children to get a vaccine. I will never, hold on. I will never, as a person with 4 children, I will never have my child get something that I cannot get some kind of higher percentage. If that percentage rate ain't higher than the 99.8% chance that my child has to survive from getting the illness, then don't even talk to me because there's no reason. Let the kid go through it, just like I had to go through with measles and chickenpox. Like,
isn't your youngest like 18? So you got your kids.
I have scars because
you got your kids into school without getting them vaccinated. That's like pretty impressive considering that some of these are required.
Spectre,
like,
did you not listen?
That's not what he said.
You did not listen. That's not what I said. See, this is what I'm saying. You don't listen.
So you respected the vaccine mandates then when they were for your kids going to school.
They were not mandates. Okay, look.
It wasn't authoritarian then? Like, was it? I'm just trying to understand, like, what makes this authoritarian? What doesn't make that?
You're calling it a name that it wasn't
Do you understand?
Called. That you're calling it a name that it wasn't called. Okay, if you're told, okay, you cannot put your kids into school unless you vaccinate them. This was done by the states, not federally. This was actually the first federal mandate. Okay, but if the states say you cannot put your kid in school without being vaccinated, that's a mandate. You're just calling it a different name. Okay, so the states said this is what had to be done. This is the first time that the government has said it. Okay,
yes, and the states government also for school they allow it to go down to the county level.
This is only the state of New York that's mandated this, and it's only been in effect for a day now. So
that's not true. Look at Boston.
Okay, wait. I also want to bring up something. Redneck, was your kid vaccinated for measles?
I said my kids have been vaccinated for everything that has school.
Only 1 to 2 people in every 1,000 die of measles when they catch measles, right? So what you're talking about here is a 99% survival rate for measles, yet you got him vaccinated for it. What's the difference then? If you said if 99% it'd be fine.
School, anything that the school required, they got. No. I told you, I had the scars. I had my shit.
Floundering.
Back in my day, we didn't get this choice. You had to go to chickenpox parties, or you went to the bumps parties. Like, you went to get sick. They threw parties together. And with our oldest daughter, who's 30, she went through one of those. But my youngest son, who's 18, of course, he's had all the shots that have been required over the past 18 years.
I know you're disabled, so you need to be careful with moving these goalposts. It could hurt, you know? Fucking, you got to be careful with those goalposts.
How many times? Bro. Look, the goalposts you're putting up. I'm being as genuine as I'm being as genuine as trying to have a normal conversation, but you guys want to keep putting politics and all this bullshit in it. And I'm literally just sitting here as a person. I'm literally sitting here as a human being saying, this is where the right and the left can honestly agree. If you guys want pro-choice to be the stance, but you don't want to compare it because you can't get pregnant by walking by somebody, well, that excuse doesn't work, because 5 years ago, as early as 3 years ago, you were living your life normally, even though you got sick, even though the flu came about, even if COVID came out 3 years ago and they said, we don't have a vaccine for it, but we will get it, it wouldn't have been mandated. This was
COVID
mandated
did
and is
come
being
out. It was called N1B1, the avian virus. Yep.
This is the third rev. Got you. Look, this is the fact that we are talking about mandating and forcing people by locking them down, by continually shutting down businesses. We are we are doing self-infliction of harm, greater harm. We haven't even looked at the effect on our kids. We haven't looked on the mental effects. We for years we're going to be studying this. And why in the fuck are you guys sitting here saying that this is not a big farm issue when they said that they want a waiver for 70 fucking years before showing the results? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Come
Okay,
on.
here's the problem I have with
y'all
the
are out
vaccine
here, man.
mandate.
Y'all are out here.
I'll tell you the problem I have with the vaccine mandate. When they did vaccines and started doing statewide mandates, okay, and gave each state the right to choose or not to choose to do it, these vaccines went through FDA approval and it took years. It didn't take a couple of months.
Yep.
Okay. And this is I know they have this emergency authorization. Okay. And they wanted to test it. And then, less than 6 months later, FDA approves it. We don't know what
I think
it will
I'm about
do
to
to
bite
the
a
human
bullet
body
that's going to get me in trouble.
20 years from now. Okay, we don't. And we see it on TV all the time, that this drug, if you took this drug, you may get money because we found out it's causing you to have heart attacks 10 years later down the line. Okay. And so that bothers me. I don't have a problem with people having a choice. Okay. If it protects you, take it. I don't like it when they say you need to take it to protect somebody else, because that doesn't fly, because we already know that you can take the vaccine and still spread it. You can catch it, carry it. You may get a low little thing, but you'll still pass it on. So it's not protecting anybody.
Okay.
Because we're trying this new type of vaccine, okay, that's never been tried before that we know of, okay, and that kind of bothers me. You let the people decide what they want to take, okay. If you go home and you kill your grandmother, well, that's your fault, okay, and it's the grandmother's fault for letting you come over, okay, because we are in a very bad situation. I'm not putting down this virus at all. Okay, it's a scary fucking virus, and it can kill you. And I've watched my friends. One guy, there was nothing wrong with him. He was a bodybuilder, got COVID, and it killed him. Okay, so it doesn't really, it's not like, okay, if you're 60 years old, like me, or 63, okay, you're at high risk for it. So what did I do? I went down and got it. Okay, because I figured I'm 63. If 20 years down the line it does something to me, well, at least I'm alive today. Okay, so I went down and took it. And I'll probably get the booster. I've been putting it off, and I finally asked my doctor, and he's my surgeon. And I said, what do you think? And he says, go get it. He says, the worst thing is, he said, the bad thing that every once in a while it does something bad to somebody. He says, I can't calculate it on my calculator. It's that rare that it's going to, give you some heart problem or something. And he says, you can't do anything in life without having some possibility, no matter how far-fetched, of it happening to you. Okay. So I said, okay. So I went down and I got the two. And also my brother-in-law, who's a gene, he studies cancer and all that stuff and trying to figure out how they can cure it. And I asked him and he said, take it, and so I did. And because I had questions. Okay. But if I decided, like my wife, she took the first two, she is not going to get the booster. She says, I won't do it. And I said, that's your choice. I said, I really hate it if you die, but it's your choice. and it's the same thing with a woman's body. It's my body, my choice.
I
Okay.
think okay when it comes to these types of vaccine issues, I don't think I would. First of all, I think that a mandate is probably a loser politically now, so I don't even back it politically. But I think the issue that I hear is it seems like we're staking out this fight on the mandate, but there's so much bad stuff going on behind it that's the mandate ends up being kind of a red herring to sneak in all of these other kind of strange arguments, and I think that's where most of my problems lie. So
yeah, I mean that's true.
Okay,
I'll
but
give you that, Disney. I'll agree with you.
Sure. Okay.
I'll give you that it was sold wrong.
Real quick. Mustanger just subbed in at tier 1. 12 months, 1 full year. She now has her pink ball. That's worth
congratulations.
announcing. That's worth announcing. All right. Anyway. Appreciate you,
that
Mustanger.
definitely is.
All right, Jens, go ahead.
So the idea that so side effects aren't going to show up. I think it's 2 months is about the max for a vaccine. It's not going to be in your body for years. You're not going to get a side effect 2 years from now, or 1 year from now, or even 6 months from now. This is just not how vaccines work. When you talk about lawyers will say if you took a drug a long time ago, those are drugs that you were taking for long periods of time. It wasn't like you took one vaccine and then 10 years later it's hiding in your spine and it comes out and kills you or whatever. So there's so much, and then the idea that all of it is just being pushed by big pharma. That argument can be used for literally every single new or cutting edge medical thing ever. But I guess the difference here is you don't mind the cutting edge. You don't like the fact that it's being mandated. If it had a 5% mortality rate, would that be something that you would say okay, well maybe it's time to mandate? Is there a number where it's okay, well at this point it's too much?
Yeah, that's kind of been the thought that's been running through my mind as I've been listening. And I'm sure you're familiar with the movie I Am Legend, right? If you saw
legendary movie.
Yeah. So but if you saw more people actually dropping dead or having a lot more health problems with this out in society, you wouldn't have a problem with people putting fucking masks on. They'd be screaming for these things. And I think that because COVID has not been as prevalent as say the flu or or the cold seasons it's been happening over the years, and sure maybe there's been an increased amount because of it, because you're not seeing that type of effect in society. The calls for the slowdowns and isolations and all of these things from government only seem to be authoritarian and don't actually seem to serve the greater purpose if you're trying to force somebody at the point of a gun, because that's essentially when you put government force behind it, that's what it is.
Well, I mean,
but the problem with the I Am Legend references is the zombies in I Am Legend were a creation of the vaccine in the movie.
Okay, so it's just an example. Okay, Destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, you were saying something.
I think I finished what I was saying.
Okay.
Can I ask the guys that are literally opposing everything I'm saying? Let me try to rephrase it and just ask y'all a few questions. Destiny and Dylan for sure, and I think Spectre as well. Do you guys believe or accept that there is a population that is affected lifelong after receiving the vaccination, i.e., they receive a disability or become disabled because of the vaccination? Is there a number?
Yeah, it's very low.
I don't know if that number even exists. I'm not sure.
I also don't know if that number exists, but I do know for a fact that there's a number that exists that is lifelong affected as far as we can tell after contracting the virus. So I'd rather stop that from happening by vaccinating people. That's been my case the whole time.
So do we all agree? Can we all just stick on the myocarditis? Do we all agree that's an issue right now? That we have 1,200 or so cases?
Yeah.
So they have cases of acute myocarditis, right? Which generally doesn't mean permanent. That's what acute means in this case.
People
right?
die. There are people that die.
No, not even generally. Acute myocarditis means temporary. Okay, it means that the heart is temporarily inflamed after getting the vaccination, and then as far as they can tell, these people seem to not be having strokes. So I don't know what that's about. But
what about these soccer players dying?
The myocarditis is fluid on.
Hold on, please just let me answer the question.
And how they fix that is they give you the pee pill. I'm honest to God, that's what they do, and you pee, and then it's gone. It's treatable. Okay, so. But those that are, and it's rare, there's been a couple that have taken it and they've got some kind of, they got tics and they can't walk, and right after getting the vaccine, it's so rare. Okay. Now.
Okay, guys, I'm not trying to go down a fucking rabbit hole. Let me keep it simple.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to my point by asking questions. I don't need trilogy answers. if we accept the fact that we have issues with some part of society, that they are affected, they become disabled. Can we accept the fact that some people can become disabled from receiving medical care?
Yeah, we can accept that there's probably some, even if the answer is 0, hypothetically, I would accept that there's going to be some number. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And if we have actual proof that certain parts of our culture and society in America have been directly disabled, tested, poked, prodded, and used as lab rats, that they would have a natural, i.e., like, oh, fuck no, y'all have already done something to me or my family members. Like, do you not think that exists? Is there a number that y'all are willing to accept that exists? And I'm not asking the reasons why, but do you accept that there's a number of people that are going to do that?
Yeah, in minority communities, I think that's pretty popular, or it's more popular than it is in non-minority.
Thank you. So let me carry it one more step. You also acknowledge that there are medical exemptions, even if we go along and we all mandate. And I say we all, like, America right now locks down just like Australia, and everything becomes a mandate.
No, I don't want that.
I already acknowledged that medical exemptions shouldn't be required to get the vaccination. Like if you're immunocompromised and it's going to cause issues, like, yeah, you probably shouldn't get it at that point.
Okay, so what percentage of the population would you bucket all of those three things that y'all just agreed to? What total percentage of the population will that be? What's the number?
So medical exemption, minorities that are unwilling. The problem is one of these categories I think is way bigger than two. So people that are negatively affected, I think, is incredibly small. People that have medical exemptions
just
are
give me a number.
Incredibly small. For the minorities, if I had to guess, maybe 10%.
Okay, so what's the total number that you're willing to accept right now that we can argue that will have these exemptions and cannot be forced to mandate? You can't force a vaccine.
Does that include
how many millions of people? How many million people are we talking?
If I say 10% of the population, I guess 30 million people, 33 million, 34 million.
So how many of those people can how many people in America can 30 million people infect?
Probably the entire population, I'd imagine. Like literally everybody, yeah?
Yeah, but they can affect even if they do get it. Okay, so how do you... Okay, but...
Well, wait, all you're arguing in favor of is a mandate then, because you're saying that these people aren't going to be pushed to get it any other way.
I'm saying that you can't force this upon enough people, even with the mandates, because of exemptions and also their religious beliefs and or rights that the Constitution will protect.
Okay, I'm not aware right now of...
Destiny, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, but I thank you enough for literally laying it out for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wait. Hold on.
Number that we can mandate that won't cure this problem that y'all are preaching.
I don't agree with that. Okay. So real clear, this is why you coming up. But I said you gave me 3 groups of people that maybe wouldn't get vaccinated: medical exemptions, people that might get the vaccine and die, and then minorities that are just uncomfortable taking it. Okay. That third number is several orders of magnitude bigger than the first 2. I don't know of any.
Yeah, bro.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Let me get this. I don't understand. Okay. You can mandate away group 3. You can't mandate groups 1 and 2. So it's important not to bundle all those people together, right?
Okay. So what's the number of 1 and 2?
Probably less than a fraction of a percent. I'm not aware right now of any contraindications for getting vaccinated. Like people keep saying immunocompromised. If you're immunocompromised, I'm pretty sure it's recommended that you get the vaccinations. Being immunocompromised isn't pregnant people are recommended to get it. People, I think it's 14 old in the US. I don't think there's any contraindication right now for getting vaccinated. So that third group matters. Right?
You take BX.
I should not say immunocompromised. I should say if you have a condition that interferes with the vaccine. But anyway, Redneck, I was also going to point out here that the highest estimation that has been given for how many people we need to get vaccinated to reach herd immunity is 85%. Some people are saying as low as 73%, right? So this idea that we have to get everyone vaccinated or the vaccine has to work 100% of the time, that's not how herd immunity has ever worked for vaccinations.
So okay, thank you.
I got a question I got a good question from the chat.
We don't have that many vaccinated.
Jesus, hold on. Everybody hear the noise? When I speak, shut the fuck up.
Amen.
Okay, nice. So I pay attention to chat. We got a good question from the chat from GSU Gambit. He says, can you ask the panel if they are worried about the worker shortages in critical fields due to vaccine mandates? And I think this is a pretty on-point question. Take it away.
I did bring that up earlier because I said you're taking
Occurred
people
is
out of their
occurred.
jobs, especially in the most affected communities. That's why I said this is a racist agenda earlier, because this directly affects people of color's community more than the white Americans that Dylan clearly stated we have more access to the vaccine. We have more willingness to take it because we trust our government. But I know directly because as a person that's been affected by our government, I see the fuckery about. And I know directly from the family that they are not trusting the government during this. And Destiny, you acknowledged it. You said the sale pitch, it's politically a loser now. And so they politically have lost the soul of who they needed to convince, because realistically, when you are fucking our people of color by taking them out of their fucking jobs, and you're taking them out of their communities by locking them down and keeping them and preventing them from being able to get out of their environments to be able to expand, get a better job, get more money, all these things that you guys are sitting here saying, oh, it doesn't affect them because, well, how's this racist? That's the racism I'm talking about. It is strictly government enforced. It is government enforced fascism directly affecting more than just us sitting here on this panel.
Okay, let's not use the F word here.
Rural communities. It affects rural communities and people of color more, because people of color have been disproportionately affected by our government pulling some fuckery about it.
Okay,
And that's where I'm at.
Look, usually it's the lefties throwing racist and fascist, and earlier you compared me to Hitler and all these different accusations out there. Tonight, I guess that's you, Redneck. I'm very sorry to say. But the problem is, then I could easily, if we're playing at this game, I could switch it around and say, remember that the black community overall, when it comes to access to wealth, is much lower than the white community. And when the majority of Americans can't even, survive a $400 emergency, how are these people going to cover medical expenses if they end up going in for COVID? Or if they have to deal with some of the severe costs that come with COVID? Or what about funeral costs when burying their family members? Since black people are dying at higher rates from COVID than white people. So my question to you then is, if you're trying to paint anybody who's in favor of a vaccine mandate as racist, why are you willing to let black people deal with overburdened healthcare costs and higher rates of death from COVID then? Wouldn't that be racist if we're just throwing racist accusations everywhere?
That's a nice twist to the story, but I'm saying that the choice is upon the person.
Maybe we're all racist.
Our government, I think, is pulling some shit, and they don't care who and you might be right, Dylan. I might be stretching it to say it's racist, but guess what? It's definitely classist. It's definitely classist what's happening right now with the mandates.
Again, but I just said that the majority of Americans cannot deal with a $400 emergency, and the costs that are going to come with catching COVID or dealing with the severe effects of COVID or the funeral costs with burying over the 800,000 people that die are severe. And so when you talk about the cost of COVID, not making the stuff available to low income and black communities, that's going to have a detrimental economic effect on top of the health effect.
No one's saying you shouldn't make it available.
Well, the problem, but the thing is,
you're not hearing
my
me.
main argument.
You're not hearing me.
Yeah, Redneck?
Can I say something?
No, please.
I have a question. So you're saying that if they get COVID, they're going to be financially.
Yeah, vaccines
financially.
Free.
But the vaccine companies themselves, they are not liable if you take the vaccine and you have you have something wrong with you.
Yep.
They're not going to pay anything.
So you want to know what? I'm gonna bite the bullet on this. If you want companies to take risks to push something through this fast, you're going to have to give them some freedom from liability.
But you're mandating.
And what? Let me finish.
You're mandating they take
it. Let me finish. Wait, come on. You know when somebody's supposed to hang themselves, you let them do. Well, maybe not me. Okay, but anyway.
Well, you're hanging yourself. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so
Jesus. Have fun, buddy. Have fun, buddy.
Okay.
That was just wrong.
Oof. Anyway, so if you want these companies to take that risk, unless you want like a public vaccine and you want to do some government socialism,
it's not a risk. It's a mandate. It's government mandated.
Never mind. I'm not.
Let him finish.
I'm not biting the bullet anymore. He lost it. He could have had a great point, but it's gone forever.
You know you're wrong, buddy.
You're interrupting me. You're not letting me finish.
Because there's no risk.
Let him finish. Let him finish so we can just get beyond this. Let him finish.
Just listen. Next time you think about interrupting somebody, imagine me putting you in the position where the only thing that you can do is listen to my voice. Now, you may think that it's pleasurable right at the moment, because let's be honest, these docile tones definitely know how to grab the attention, right? But what it ends up doing is it ends up slowing down discourse. It takes away from where your minds are presently into whatever it is that I decide to fucking say. And it can be like some of the craziest shit that's out there. I could start talking about, fucking Will Smith's movie Wild Wild West, right? And actually start breaking out into dance. You know why? because I'm a crazy son of a bitch and I don't mind fucking doing that, right? So we got a genre that just got blue balled. I fucking love it when people own their own blue balls, right? It's fucking awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to throw it back out into the ether for people to participate, and we're not going to be interruptive. We're going to be having a conversation. Okay, let's go.
Well, Dylan walked away from the mic, so we're not going to be able to hear what he was saying. And I do want to hear what he's saying. And we shouldn't interrupt somebody unless they're taking 10 minutes talking.
Yeah, and I like quick back and forth. These things are, it's fine. That's why I've been trying to moderate a lot. But, you gotta. Yeah, he's coming back now.
For me, it's like you're not taking a risk when the government is mandating it. Basically, saying that the government is purchasing that product, so there is no risk. They are already making their money. I don't understand how there's a risk.
There's absolutely a risk, and it would take 2 seconds to explain that.
Bisco, you can take it away, okay? I believe in you.
So on the one hand, you have the risk to the.
Wait, where's Pisco's camera? Pisco, is there a camera? Or
I don't have a camera right now. I'm at my parents' house right now. Currently.
Okay.
So the risk to the corporation's goodwill.
Hold on. So for everybody, this is Pisco, right? He's a founder here in the Wolf's Den. Just want to make sure he gets a proper announcement, right? So welcome, Pisco. Take the floor.
Yeah. So one risk that even if you immunize these drug companies from civil liability or tort liability, there's an enormous amount of risk in terms of goodwill by the people who are not going to be willing to buy products from certain manufacturers if they have defects. That's a real risk. Another real risk could potentially be loss of you can't sell this thing anymore. You can't sell this drug anymore. And you put a lot of upfront costs into developing a drug. And if you can't make returns on that, that's absolutely a risk. Yes, they might be limiting civil tort liability, but people aren't free from potential avenues for redress. I'm not sure that the government is immunizing themselves from federal tort claims on that. So there's absolutely risks inherent for everyone involved.
Okay, but if you're getting mandated to take a vaccine, and let's say you take that vaccine, like I said, my two cousins took the vaccine, had a stroke. Now they are not liable at all for any type of damages that are caused by that vaccine.
What Destiny was trying to show to you is the problem of causation in all of this. Destiny was trying to do it kind of lightly to you, but the problem is in proving, in fact, that what happened caused the damages. So key to a lot of even criminal cases, but certainly of tort claims, is proving that the thing that happened, the negligence that occurred, was indeed negligence and that it actually caused the injury. And so the great amount of difficulty that you're going to have is proving, out of a preponderance of evidence, that even though it's close in time, what Destiny was trying to tell you is you can't be certain about what's causing it. It could be just a big coincidence. If it's family members, maybe there's actually some genetic component to it or something else that they're ingesting, and that is going to be a very difficult case to prove, even if there wasn't this immunity shield. And so that's the trouble here and the trickiness here of proving a lot of these alleged side effects.
Okay, but
you need a range.
My question is you okay? So you're talking about we have this this community who is like downtrodden. They get COVID, they can't pay for it. But what if the same community gets the vaccine and something happens to them and they can't pay for it? The vaccine makers are not liable. So what are we doing?
So are we moving on from? So I thought the question was, why does it make sense to immunize these manufacturers from liability? And you brought up the case of your your cousins or your brothers. And what I heard was, well, why shouldn't they be able to pursue this claim anyway? First of all, the odds are stacked against them. One, because I just explained that causation is extremely difficult to prove in these cases.
I understand that.
Number two is I'm guessing they can't hire the best litigators in the country to face off against an army of lawyers from these insurance companies. And you certainly don't have enough people, I would think, to have the same kind of pathway to have a class action suit just because this is so rare.
Hold on.
Real quick, Pisco, the question was ask the panel if they were worried about the worker shortage in critical fields during the vaccine mandates.
That's a trade-off, and I'm not trying to just come in here and just back up everything that Destiny said, but that's a trade-off that people make at the ballot box, and that's a trade-off that governments make all the time. I think some of you here were making a comparison constitutionally between whatever this is and the abortion case, But it just is the case that as a democratic matter, we recognize the importance of certain interests and the unimportance of other interests. And the government has made a determination, the political branches, that this pandemic is serious. And if you have a problem with that, your problem with that trade-off, and that will cause potential labor shortfalls in certain areas. Maybe that's something that they've already calculated, and they think that the problem of a continued and prolonged and sort of very vicious pandemic is worse in the labor outcomes of losing some marginal amount of unvaccinated workers. That's a trade-off that the political branches have made. You disagree with that trade-off, but bringing it up is not, I think, a point against the mandates, and especially if you can show that the mandates encourage people to have vaccinations, which I think has been borne out in numerous places.
My question is, these pharmaceutical companies are making billions of dollars in profits. Do you not think they should be able to pay the medical bills of people who are having adverse reactions to these vaccines? I don't understand why that is crazy.
I absolutely, if there are genuine vaccine reactions, I don't think that anyone here would have a problem with the government compensating people, or indeed.
But what he's saying is why the government, why not the pharmaceutical companies themselves?
Or indeed the pharmaceutical companies themselves. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Okay, but they can sue. Hang on, they can sue gun manufacturers, right? They can sue gun manufacturers. Why can't they sue a pharmaceutical company?
Wait, hold on. Wait. First of all, we can't sue gun manufacturers. No, I thought that's
the case right now. Is that the pharmaceutical companies have no liability at all for your adverse reactions to a vaccine?
Listen,
so let's just walk this through. Okay, so let's say sure. Okay, so you are going to sue. Okay, your cousins, okay, that had strokes are going to sue the pharmaceutical company, right? How are they winning that case? How do they prove that their stroke was caused by the vaccine?
I understand, you can get litigations and all that. We can get law into it, but I'm just asking you. He takes a vaccine. Let me finish. Yeah. 6 hours later, he has a stroke. My other cousin, he takes a vaccine. A day later, has a stroke. Is there not some type of causation? Can we not explore that avenue?
Let me just tell you how hard it is.
Hold on, real quick. Okay, you need to shift the gear in your brain to work in statistics, right? So there are 40 million people in the United States, right? How many people are having strokes all the time? And what are the oh fuck, he's gone.
But there's a bigger point to be made here before it even comes back on. The thing about the George Floyd, Derek Chauvin case, the causation was an issue when we were trying to prove that the hold that we all saw Derek Chauvin had on George Floyd caused the death of George Floyd. Causation is extremely thorny. I'll grant you it's more difficult, I think, in the criminal context when the burden is much higher. But in terms of this stroke, you're just going to have an avalanche of lawyers talking really, I think convincingly that what happened was probably not a COVID side effect, or at least raising a serious amount of doubts to that reality.
Well, in the worst you'd be making a chilling effect on a lot of future potential medication. Imagine if any time anybody took a medical treatment of yours, they could potentially sue you if they had anything bad happen to them medically over the next day, right? You'd never make medicines for senior citizens, because who the fuck knows when they're going to have a heart attack or stroke. You'd never make medicines for at-risk people. So orphan drugs.
And the drug companies would never totally true though, because the difference, the entire contention is the mandate. It's not the liability. It's the mandate.
No, I'm just saying
why is being mandated if you're unliable.
Well, no, there will be liability. There will be liability. It's just not going to be.
My question to the original question is
afterwards, right?
Is how many of y'all work in a field where the mandate has affected the amount of workers that you have? Because
which mandate are you talking about? There are a legion of different regulations that you could be referring to.
I work in that field, and
hey, Milwaukee's back.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what industries and what fields are being told hey, you have to get the vaccine or you're fired. That's causing an actual worker shortage. That was my question.
There are private actors who are working. There are state actors. There are local actors, municipalities. There's the federal government stuff. There's a ton of different, a legion of different regulations, both private and public, that you could be possibly referring to. And when you just say the mandate as though it's one thing, it's impossible to fight with that.
I mean, these are different organizations. The concept is the mandate.
Wait a second. Milwaukee hasn't talked yet. I want to hear what Milwaukee has to say. CTV. He hasn't talked yet. He's one of us brightest stars. Okay.
I work for
Dude,
Union Pacific
come on.
Railroad as an engineer, and there are a lot of us being fired.
Pursuant to what? Pursuant to your employer? Pursuant to some state or some governor's order? Some state law that's been passed? The OSHA regulations? What? Why were you fired, or why were your friends or coworkers fired? Or do you know?
Mandates.
Which ones? Because if you're saying, for instance,
Have to have this shot. If you don't have this fucking shot by December 8th, and they keep fucking pushing it on.
Okay, so let me.
He's got a point.
So for a second, think about this clearly. Those of you who are talking about the mandate to have the vaccine, who say that individual freedom is very important, surely you would all be supportive of a private employer's right to mandate vaccines for their own business. Of course,
I knew.
right?
I'd love to have this. Oh, let's stop right there. Though. Let's answer that one.
That's why it's important to identify.
Hang on.
Stop you
bro, hang
right
on.
there.
Hey, Redneck, I want to hear Milwaukee.
Union Pacific Railroad is not a private contractor. It is a federal contractor.
You ain't right, Dylan.
He's got a point.
So I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
there was that where Biden put it into law that all federal contractors must be vaccinated. That included your airlines, your trains, everybody else. And I have a problem with that because you are taking people out of their jobs, and who's going to replace them? Are you going to drive the engine? You don't know how to drive the engine. So what's that going to do? That's going to make our same problem we're having now with getting products into the stores. And I just have a big time problem with that. They're doing that to the same thing with the doctors and nurses, and the nurses are saying, we don't want to take this thing. Well, then you're fired. Well, who's going to take care of the ones that are COVID? Okay. That's why I don't like mandates. Leave it up to the person.
How about the employer? How about leave it to the employer? I mean,
the employer is the federal contractor.
Okay, in your case,
I'm a member of the biggest union in the country, and they were like, "Nope, you don't give us your card, you're out of here."
Surely the federal government has a right to say who they want to work with and who they don't want to work with. Correct?
Well, I go back to the original question because
Can I have an answer to that question first?
Yeah,
because where I stand.
I agree. Okay, wait. Also, I love you guys.
So doesn't the government have a right? Doesn't the government have a right to contract with whomever they want?
Well, yeah,
a right to contract with whoever they want.
But in that sense, how many railroads are there? Okay. They're going to contract with them, but what they did is they demanded their contractors do that. Now,
okay, you DGG shitters, I am like 400 subs away, okay, from hitting my sub goal for the year on YouTube. Just DylanBurnsTV on YouTube, I'd appreciate it. ! YouTube in chat, okay? You little shitters, okay, I'd appreciate it.
They could say if you don't want to work for us, you don't have to, okay?
But they can't.
What I had a problem with
if
was
you have
federally mandating.
Is occurred.
Okay. Now, if the train company decided that they wanted to vaccinate their workers and said you had to do it, then okay, they have a right to do that. Okay, but not because the government said we're going to shut you down if you don't do it. Then I had a problem with it. Okay, that's all I had to say.
Can I just go back to Dylan's example of the car, since he asked earlier, or he said it earlier, but you said you're going to bite the bullet about liability for companies, but yet you'll sue a car company if that seatbelt don't work or that airbag doesn't deploy.
The difference is we didn't need to rush out a car model, right? We didn't.
Jesus
we didn't
Christ.
need to rush out a
Like,
car model. We needed to rush out a vaccine to save lives.
For this.
Because
it's
we
actually
needed
a good point.
We didn't look. We didn't need to rush out.
Moving.
Okay. No. It's actually a good point, and it goes back to what Destiny said about incentives as well. If the government, as a national interest, let's not forget who prioritized this as a national interest rightly was Donald J. Trump, and he essentially you come to an agreement with these drug companies.
Okay, since you all noped, I'm gonna make Mike from PA champion. Okay. Fuck you guys, okay? You all nopers in chat, okay?
For torts. It would be, I think, extremely bad for long-term incentives to later down the line say we're going to take away your liability shield. And now, if a future pandemic strikes, those drug companies are never going to trust the United States government again if they just renege and take away that liability shield that was important for them having the assurances to develop the vaccine in the first place.
Well, I think that
mandates didn't cause the shortage.
Hold on. Shouldn't that also be dependent on like the companies? I don't know. It seems like that there's a line that could be crossed if they put out a bad product that the consumer has some type of recourse.
If you show, for instance, and I'm not actually sure what is the nature of this liability shield. I haven't looked at it myself, but I'm sure that there's exceptions for like malicious conduct. That suppose that you have a doctor who actually wanted, as some people think, by the way, as some people do believe, this is an intentional infection to hurt people. If that conduct were at issue, I'm sure that the liability shield that was bargained for would not be, would not be okay, or whatever that was.
But no, you find a malicious doctor, a random one. Yes, maybe. I don't understand your concept here.
Okay, so the liability shield? What about who else is going to make these vaccines if we don't have companies that are like, hey, I can make this product, but I'm going to need some time. And they're like, no, we need it right now. Okay, well, I'm going to get sued. Okay, well, here's a liability shield.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's true.
If not them, who's going to make the
But
vaccine?
at a certain point, isn't that a valid reason to be concerned?
Would you be concerned if
on the same side as I am? You have a random doctor that says this stupid shit. It makes no sense.
Nice. Okay, so would you be concerned if the government did is another question. And if you wouldn't be concerned, I don't know why, I don't know what world you're on, but the government has a thing known as sovereign immunity from suit unless it wants to be sued. And so those liability shields exist almost as a matter of course for government actors. And so I'm worried, I'm questioning who you wanted to be in charge of this vaccination effort.
Yeah, but once again, Milwaukee, can you expand on that? The stupid shit not making sense? I want to hear more about that.
Milwaukee, don't do it. Milwaukee, right now, I'm going to ask you not to speak at all. Dylan's
why is you censoring him? He's just a proud American. He's a proud American. Stop censoring a proud American.
Can I say fascism?
Stop censoring him. Stop censoring this proud American.
Milwaukee.
This American wants to express his views. No, they're not. They're trying to. No, this proud American wants to speak. I want to hear this proud American.
I'm not going to let you do
I don't know what you're talking about.
Redneck.
And he calls us redneck.
Hey,
I believe in free speech.
I will answer Dylan's questions. What question you have to ask?
I wanted you to expand on like how it didn't make sense. I just wanted to hear more about that.
A curd is a curd.
In terms of what? What is your question?
You said the shit around liability didn't make any sense.
What?
Thanks. You told me everything I needed to know.
Question?
Never mind. You said that it didn't make any sense. I want to know how it doesn't make sense. Why isn't it clicking?
In terms of what? Medical?
Real piece of shit move, Dylan.
Why are you talking? Why is it a piece of shit move?
Dylan, this is a piece of shit move.
What's wrong?
Dude, he's here under his own free will. Come on.
Wow.
I'm asking what the question is.
No, that's the point.
Redneck. You see a lot of yourself in him, right?
Hang on, bro. You just acknowledged that you know why.
Not acknowledge. What?
Don't start that. Don't look. Alcohol and weed are two different things, and I am fully conscious aware of what I'm saying every time I'm on weed. Anybody else, you know as well as I do, alcohol is a whole different thing. And your whole chat sitting here bagging on this dude and using out. And if alcoholism is a problem, I don't want to sit here and celebrate that bullshit.
Look, he is on a public platform. Okay, if he should not be here, he should be removed by a moderator. Okay, if he's on a public platform, he can be held accountable for what he says.
I am here in a public. What the fuck do you want to know?
I know everything I need to know.
And
buddy.
frankly, Redneck, Milwaukee wants to be here and talk.
I got you, bro.
I do this once a week now, by the way, like also on a public platform, so I don't really see what the big deal is either, honestly.
Are we back to like the actual conversation? Is that cool?
Yeah, we can go back.
Okay. I wanted to, for a moment, address, I think, the fatuous comparison between abortion, bodily autonomy argument, and why isn't that consistent with respect to the vaccine mandate? Some of you brought this up, right?
I would love to make more points, but I'm a little. I think this is the biggest piece of shit move tonight, and I'm out.
You're
I'm also
He's
on
up,
Twitter.
man.
really good job white knighting.
Dylan,
Like good job saving someone that didn't need to be saved.
Dylan, what the fuck do you want to ask me?
I'm good, buddy. Don't
Ask
worry
me.
about it. I'm good, buddy. I understand. I got it. I got it from you. Don't worry.
So I legit was curious if anybody knows
I
whether.
don't think you understand it. What do you want to ask me?
No, I just wanted to know because you said it didn't make sense. So I just wanted to know how it didn't make sense. That's all. Like you said, it didn't make sense. Like what isn't clicking?
What's not clicking, Dylan? The vaccine mandate or what?
Yeah, I'm asking. Like he asked about liability. He said that it didn't make sense. This discussion about liability. What doesn't make sense?
The liability between what? Go into detail.
The corporation, like the liability that the corporation doesn't have civil liability. Yes, I want to know, Milwaukee. I want to know.
Like, I also don't understand how it had anything to do with like the mandate or not, whether or not like the corporation should be probably held liable. Like ethically, yeah, if the vaccine causes a bad side effect, I think we can all agree that in a like perfect world, you'd be able to like get Pfizer to pay out. They can obviously afford it, but just not the way that things work, not the way that Operation Warp Speed motivated them to get it done in time.
The reason why they were given this blanket from being, not be able to be sued was because it was experimental. And so they said, look, we can't be held liable because we don't know, And so they gave it to them so they could get out this when it was still
all right,
not
everybody.
FDA approved.
All right, everybody, look. This is Scrappy. You don't see her often.
Aw.
She is
Scrappy.
She is 16 years old.
Oh wow.
She's been all over this country, and every single time she crossed into New Jersey, she had to take a shit on New Jersey.
Whoa.
I don't know why.
Whoa.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. I'd be coming up 95. Hold on, Milwaukee. Right. Hold on, right? So, like, we'd be coming up 95. We'd be in Maryland. I would stop in Maryland, right? Let her go potty. She didn't have to take shit. Soon as we crossed into New Jersey, she took a shit.
Maryland's a good state. That's why.
Amazing. All right, anyway. Y'all.
That's wild. No, but I just hate the word mandate. I don't think they should do it. They never should have done it. It should be, hey, they should be teaching. They should be saying, this is what good this vaccine will do.
This motherfucker Dylan wants to fucking challenge me. Let's go.
Bro, he just asked. So maybe you're not understanding. You made a comment, and he just asked you what you meant by your comment. You said what you said, and he's just asking you to elaborate on what you said. There's no other question to be had. Just what did you mean by saying that the liability was bullshit or nonsense or didn't make sense, whatever you said?
Milwaukee, just ask him if you want to fuck. Because that's what he's at. He's looking for that clip.
I don't know if I said that. Absolutely not.
You were saying something that sort of ended.
Elaborating on a liability of the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, you were.
For the record, I'm not the mod. I can't kick him. Okay, somebody CTV has to kick him. I can't. He's wasted. I don't know what. But he's like this every time I see him on stream. So I don't know if he's wasted or if this is actually just like him. Like I have no clue. Good guy Creeper, thanks for the tier 1. And look, I don't think he should be on stream, but like if you walk into a room and start making comments about the vaccine, you get what's coming to you.
Okay.
All right.
Now that I'm through taking care of dogs for a little bit.
Hey, Milwaukee, do you think maybe you should take a nap? Maybe like go to bed, maybe?
See, that's what it makes me sound like. I don't understand why it does that.
What does?
Your mic makes you sound sleepy and drunk?
Yeah, it really does. I don't understand that.
Well, man, I don't know about that one.
I gotta find out
think
where
you might just have a few boos there. It's okay. It's all
where
right.
do you find a microphone like that? I gotta know.
It's the mic. The mic. I hadn't considered that.
Just the microphone. Yeah.
Redneck got a little upset over nothing.
Completely fucking fine. And I'm sitting here talking to y'all.
Alley Cat just jumped in here. Alley Cat, what's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going? Nice, long time no see, Pisco. I guess I was just trying to get the panel's opinion on something that Biden said 2 days ago. I'm quoting from the New York Post. Forgive me if this is out of context. Look, there are no federal solutions. This gets solved at the state level and ultimately gets down to where the rubber meets the road, and that's where the patient needs of help or preventing the need of help. What do you guys all think of that? And when it comes to federal mandates,
I honestly can absolutely applaud Biden for that.
Yeah, I
As
don't
a
think
matter
any
of
of us
like,
have been talking about federal mandates, so like I'd agree with Biden here. We like states.
so then no more OSHA mandate? No more OSHA mandate?
I disagree with him.
I'm with no more
okay,
OSHA
so like,
mandates.
so this is why, like, mandate versus like requiring people who like work in certain industries or like work at certain jobs, blah 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 blah, for businesses to get it. Like, I think these are different things, but sure, if you want to call it a mandate, fine, that's fine at the federal level.
Did Destiny just get Bidened?
what do you mean by that?
Well, clearly there's no need for any legislation at the federal level. Biden says it's a state issue, right?
Well, I think that what he is commenting on, I'm not in his head. I actually disagreed. I think the federal action is sorely needed, but I think he might be commenting on the reality of our way of government, and in fact, many of the attempts that the federal government has made to try to impose mandates or restrictions due to vaccine have been met time after time with constitutional challenge, because it is true that our federal government is a government of limited powers. And
okay, I've been doing this for over 2 hours. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm tapping out, guys. Okay, I'm gonna rate CTV. If you want to watch this, you got to go to Critically Thinking Veterans panel, his channel. Thanks for watching. DylanBurnsTV on YouTube. Milwaukee is based.